What the hell is this chat message? He said, I'm riding the bus today because mother hid my car keys to punish me for talking to a woman on the phone. She was right to do it. What the fuck is that? Is this a meme I don't recognize or what? Mother was right to do it. Well, you're all Oblivion NPCs now, so I'll accept it. It's Simpsons. There's some really popular things in media that I just don't know shit about, and Simpsons is like one of them. I'm like aware of the Simpsons. I know what they sound like. Never watched the show. Like, I don't. I think I've seen like one full episode, maybe. Probably. I didn't like it that much. I've seen a lot of bits and pieces of episodes, and I thought it was like okay. I don't think I even like hated it. I was just like, oh, it's not my favorite. You know, like not a big deal kind of thing. Also, I want to play Haste, but I want to limit the frame rate in my NVIDIA control panel, but I don't see it in the drop down. Isn't there a way to just find a specific program? Do I have to have it open for that? Any knowers? I don't usually have to do this. Treasure Train. Oh shit! Wait, that's the new thing. That's that new thingy. I haven't been live to experience this. Hold on, let me see how it works. It's the new one. It's I think it's like when you reach level 5, right? Let me see. Oh my god, thank you. When you reach level 5, the gift sub bundles are discounted. Let me see. I wanna see the rates though. Yeah, it discounts this, so it's the 35% off on 5+. There it is. There it is. It says it. Damn, they did 35% off? I thought it was gonna be less. What the fuck? Huh. Well, thank you, Twitch, for that. Thank you, you guys, for that. 35 is huge. I want to check where the burden of the discount is placed, but that's crazy. When you get to level 10, they straight up shoot you. Yeah, they're known for that. Let me see. It's, yeah, 35% discount will be unlocked on purchases of 5 or more tier 1 single month gift subs. Discount only applies to 5 or more. Cannot be combined with other. Okay, that's fine. I want to see. Is there a catch? I'm looking for a catch. I'm trying to see if there's a catch. The split is post discount. That's thank you, Bite. That is what I was looking for, to see if it is. And I'm gonna be honest. I'm just glad more is more, okay? I'm a more is more kind of person. But I will say, if you are supporting because you want to support the community, gifted subs are great. If you are supporting because you want to throw it straight at me and you want me to get those funds to be able to use for projects or whatever, you should use the donation links because they only take 2% of it. So it's just what you're trying to do. It's what you're trying to do. If you're here to support the community specifically, then absolutely take that discount and do that. Spread the subs out. That's great. You know, it's just, you know, you have options. You have options of what you want to do. Sorry, I don't have a exclamation point dono thingy. It's the panel below. If you scroll down, there's a panel that has the link. But yeah, they're two different things, and it's just dependent on what you're trying to support or what you specifically want it to go toward. Oh my god. Jesus, Mr. Bite, thank you for the 100. What the fuck? Clumpy, thank you for 10. You guys are going crazy. Graphic, thank you for 10 gifted. I'm scrolling. Ando, thank you for 5 gifted. Jimbo, thank you for 5 gifted as well. Whiskey for 5 gifted. Speakman for 10. Take Glorp for 5, Biffle for 10, and Culin for 5. I'm scrolling. Cabe for 10 and Dandroth for 20. Wait, there's more. Darpington for 20 as well. Silkerus for 5 gifted subs. Thank you all. I think that was what kicked it off. Thank you so much. It's crazy. Thank you for 26. Glumpy, thank you for 10. I think I said that right. Nightshade, thank you for 20 gifted subs. That's crazy. That's crazy. 4,500. You're insane. You're insane. There it is. There it is. Thank you so much. Demo, thank you for 10 as well. I said, I don't remember. Yeah, let me see. It's, the treasure train is doing the thing. Are all of the hype trains treasure? No, it says it's a rare hype train. Okay. How rare, though? Because, you know, they say the golden cap, a train is rare, but I have gotten, like, 2 within the same day. I don't know if you... Now, obviously, that is still rare, but, like, I have had that happen to me. Twitch has blessed me with a lot of golden kappa trains. And I don't know if they're just more likely to show up in certain channels. Perhaps they just are like, wow, we love her so much or something. But, you know, they claim they're super rare, but I'm a little skeptical. on that. So how rare are these treasure trains going to be? You know what I mean? I don't know. But thank you all for supporting. I appreciate it. Toa, thank you for the sub. Nanbu, thank you for 5 gifted. Dickles, thank you for 1 gift. Seb, Captain Watt, thank you for 5 gifted. Croutons with the 10 gifted. And Val, thank you for gifting 1 sub. I appreciate you guys. Everyone will be sure to stream this week got one, it seems. Yeah, I have this... I have this theory, I'm pretty sure is the case, that I think they just take larger channels and they are just, or channels that tend to get good amounts of gifted subs, and they tend to just test these features on them more. I think they just, straight up, we just get hit with more of them. Like, a channel that is likely to get a lot of hype trains, not only is it just causation, like, yeah, if you get more trains, you have more of a chance to hit one of these, but I think the frequency, or the rate of it, rather, I think it is actually biased. Yeah, VTuber bias, because we tend to have more people in our communities that gift subs and things. I find that people, rather than like donating straight to us, we have a lot of people that are more likely to do subs and all that because they like supporting the community itself, because a lot of chatters know each other across multiple chats. It's not just these insular communities. So I find, personally, when people are being generous in VTuber communities, I feel like they tend to do more gifted subs and stuff, trying to gift each other things. If anyone has a Throne, they love to use Throne. If anyone has, what is it, like Fourth Wall lets you gift merch to other community members, I find people go crazy with that. Like, the communities are good to each other, you know? So I find that we tend to get more hype trains because people go more into gifting subs rather than just being like, hey, I'm giving you dollars, right? Which I think is a nice thing. I like that. So I think because of that, we tend to get more of these sorts of things. Jesus, level 13 is crazy. Anonymous Gifter, thank you for the 20 gifted subs. It's huge. RNG, thank you for 5 gifted subs. Jesus. And Geo, thank you for 5 as well. But yeah, that's the thing. I think because our communities are very generous toward each other, not just the streamer, you know, we tend to get more stuff like this activated on our channels, I feel. Now, I don't know if that's true or if it's just, you know, confirmation bias or whatever, but it feels like it is. I feel like every time there's a new feature, I get a ton of these, so just saying. Just saying. Blazing, thank you for 5 gifted subs, and Blondie, thank you for 10. Thank you so much for 10. They're saying, I'm looking at this article here, they're saying individual subs are like $5.99 each, assuming you're paying in the US, right? Gifted subs offering discounts per amount. So if the 35% discounts applied to the combined $29.95 price of 5 subs, then the treasure train discount makes it $19.46 for 5 subs instead of $29.95. That's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. Samurai, thank you for the 5 gifted. That's insane. But it does seem like the caveat, like we said, is that the discount and the split are applied in the way that gives the creator the least money, of course. Sounds about right. But at the same time, like I said, if you are here to be generous for the community, subs are fine. Get your discount. I feel like giving anything is good, so I'm not gonna be like, oh, they can't, oh, they're not giving me my money. Like, fucking, you guys are getting a discount. I think that's good. So let's just put that out there. You know, I'm not gonna be like, fuck you, Twitch. Let me get more money out of them. That's kind of weird. I do like when Twitch takes on the burden, though. Because they do that with other things, with other discounts. You turn the discounts off if it is an issue for you. If it actually, like, affects things to the point where, like, I take a real hit, then I could, like, do that, I guess. But we'll see. If like, every train turns into a treasure train, it might be a little crazy. It might actually be a problem. But, you know, if they could let me limit it, that'd be cool. But they're never going to give me those tools. They never will. Also, thank you, Batten. Yeah, that is the, like... Oshi, can you make a Nightbot command for that tip link? I thought I had one, but maybe I don't. Someone did dono and donation earlier. I thought maybe it was, like, tip, but maybe not. Do I not have that? Oh, I do. Never mind. There it is. Yeah, apparently I do. I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure I went through and had those. But yeah, thanks again, guys. If you want to gift subs, go ahead. If you're like, I want you to get as many cents out of whatever I'm giving you, then just do the donor links. That's all. You have the choice to do whichever you prefer. Like that. Derpington, thank you for the 50. They only take the credit card fee. I get the rest of it. So if you're here to help fund, like, you know, a project or something, then that is a good way to do it. But do whatever you're comfortable with at the end. Giving anything at all is insane in and of itself, so I'm just always thankful. Viking, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Thank you so much. And if you got gifted a sub, say thank you. Because it's all not necessary. It's just nice people. Okay? All right. All right. Xander, thank you for the 10. Thank you for the 10. I don't know why your teeth... Sorry,
just cause I'm curious about what a treasure train is on.
There it is. Astro, yours didn't play for some reason. I just reopened it. Since apparently I've begun to do this every stream, have you heard of the vampire squid? If not, you should look him up. He's a cutie. I have. I have, in fact. I like his little ear flappies. He's not quite like the Dumbo squid, but... Thank you for the bits! Spaceman, thank you for $25! Holy shit, it's loud. Holy. The vibe switch. I was just about to talk about Doom, so this is great. I was just about to transition us into talking about Doom, man. You knew. Fuck you. Thank you. Well, hey, that's a great transition because, like I said, hey, guys, you know what's coming out this week? You know what's coming out this week?
What chat doesn't realize is that GEEGA has a room full of money that she swims in like Scrooge McDuck.
Yes, I'm a billionaire. Clearly. No, if I had like fuck you money, I think I would get a new model every month, straight up.
Since it's
You'd be able to
Day,
tell.
Will the blessed mother make an appearance today?
Yeah.
GEEGA pray.
She may, potentially. We shall see. We shall see. But thank you for the bits. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yeah, no, if I had crazy money, like if I had throwaway money, I think you would know.
Chat, she doesn't have a room full of money. She just rents mine out. SMH.
Yeah, the treasure trove. No, I have some things on the horizon. Speaking of that, though, I actually do have two things on the way, but you know, because I'm not a super rich Andy, they are taking many months. So one should be out soon. I have no idea. I have no idea on timeline. I would love to tell you, but I don't know. I've been mentioning it for months though. I mean, the last outfit I did was the one in end of February. I think this next one at best will be June. Maybe. At best June. Maybe July? I'm not sure yet. But we'll see. We'll see. I have some stuff getting rigged right now. I have two things getting put in at kind of the same time, and then they're getting done like one after the other. One is a project with someone else as well. I just don't know how we're doing that. There's a lot of moving parts when you try to do anything with anyone instead of just doing something alone. It complicates it so much. So much. So, yeah, I'm working on that. We'll see. If the boss had crazy money, there'd be a Doom model. Yeah. There would be signs, okay? There would be signs. You would know. You would know. What's coming out around then? It's not related to anything like that. It's not game related. But we have some really cool projects on the horizon. They're the same ones I've been talking about for months, though. They've been going. I feel like this always happens where I wanted just like a couple outfits per year, and I wanted to very evenly lay them out throughout the year. But I feel like what keeps happening is things keep aligning so that I have like 2 outfits come out back to back, and then a period of nothing, and then 2 outfits back to back, and then a period of nothing. Which some I could just delay just to delay, but stuff like the Monster Hunter one obviously was coming out on the day Monster Hunter was coming out, you know, like, so like stuff like that. Sometimes I can't really move all of those dates, you know. So it's how it is. It's how it is. So now I once again have a big gap of time, and then I have 2 things probably getting done within a month of each other. I might, since neither of them is game related, I might be able to spread them out a little bit so it's not so weird. I feel like it's a little weird when I do like an outfit and then a month later another outfit, you know. It was like a 6-week period, but still, I like to let them have their time, you know what I mean?
Speaking of money, have you given any thought about setting aside money for retirement?
I've never thought about that ever in my life.
A lot of content creators don't plan accordingly about their future.
They don't.
If that day comes where they hang their hat and call it a career.
They don't at all. I mean, that's the thing. So when you make money as a creator, you need to realize that this is not a stable job that should just pay your bills for, you know,
Question
the time you're doing it.
Traditional or Roth IRA, XDD.
You can't even do some of them the way you want to when you're self-employed. So when you're a creator, you're supposed to try and make buku bucks in that short time and then hope that that carries you over. You can either invest it afterward or it's just enough to live off of after that. That's the hope, because this is not the sort of thing that usually, like, you know, you can do for 30 years. That's not really how this works. So when you see a creator and you see how much they're making yearly, people will be like, oh my God, with some of the bigger ones, right? They're like, holy shit, that's crazy. But I'm like, yeah, keep in mind, this guy's going to do this for 10 years and then try to live off of that same pile of money for the rest of the time, you know? Like, that's, a lot of them want to retire at some point. Or their career just fizzles out, you know? And you can keep streaming forever if you really want to, but will it always pay the bills? I don't know. So you kind of have to like take advantage and strike while the iron's hot, do as much as you can, knowing that you have to make this last. But I see a lot of creators forget about the future existing, and they're like, I'm gonna buy a really big house and a car right now. And I'm like, you don't leave your house. And that house is gonna eat all of your money. What about what's going to pay for your food 10 years down the line? You know what I mean? There are a lot of people that just kind of like fuck that up. So they make good money now, quote unquote, but it's like, if you put it over the course of a lifetime, it's not that great. Now, hopefully they have something they could do afterward and just be a normal human in society or whatever, but a lot don't. have a skill set for that, so they really have to like come up with something, you know. And it's kind of rough. It's kind of rough. I figure 1 million equals 20 years of 50K a year. I mean, you could spread money out like that, right? Like that's how I would say it. Then again, like you'll have time whenever your shit fizzles out, so you should be able to do something. But you know, if you don't make good money and have like a stack saved, then that means that when your shit fizzles out, you don't have money to invest in something, so you have to go do something else, you know. But yeah, a lot of people don't think about that. Yeah, like professional sports, you said. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's the entertainer standard. Make enough money to last like 40 plus years after you retire. That's the hope, right? You want to like make good money quickly, short burst, buy things, like buy a house outright, and so that all you owe now on it is just property tax and your standard bills, and then just hope that you can keep that going forever, right? And it ends up being similar to someone working a more normal job for however many years, but theirs lasts a lot of years. Usually you end up affording a lot of the same things. But obviously not the biggest creators, they make crazy money, but you know, like the medium-sized ones. I don't know. Money can make money, you can live off interest too. Right, that's kind of like the thing you should do. So when I see a streamer make like a little money and they're like, oh, I bought myself something nice, I'm like, stop it, invest it, stop, put it in an account. Like, even if it's just in your savings and that's all it's accruing, like something, you know? Let it just sit there or something, you know, and then like make something. It's just crazy. 1 million now gets you piles of interest investment growth though. Well, right, 1 million now if you do that. But people get 1 million now and they'll be like, I'll buy my house and a car and another car. And I'm like, hold on. Hold on. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, they get enough money to last you forever, get enough fame to get endless interview money. That's the hope. That's if things go well. A lot of the time it doesn't even go that well for you to do anything long term, to be honest.
Bits for GEEGA's retirement fund lol.
I'm trying to be as smart as I can with whatever I'm doing. No matter what, I think about it all the time. Obviously, I'm going to try to do things as if this will never end, you know, as best I can.
Honestly,
but I think
if
about
you really want to get the most out of that money, it makes sense to invest in something that creates passive income over the course of your lifetime.
Yeah, but how many things do that? Not much. How many things really work out well like that? Not much. And a lot of those things cost a lot to make you any appreciable amount. So if you want to just make passive income, you're probably going to have literally like $500,000 or more to put down on something that will just sit there. And then you're probably going to have to manually manage that thing, depending on what it is. If you could simply get passive income, everyone would do it. Yeah, you know, you could put things into an account, but you make more money when you put more money into an account. So if you don't have a ton of money and in an account, you'd have like, what, 100K you put in somewhere, and it makes 2% per year. You're going to live off that? You're going to live off that? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to live off that? Even 5% per year, you're going to live off that? So you have to have like a large amount of just money to just let sit there. And then let's say you want to do something more active. You're like, oh, people are like, oh, real estate. Okay, buy a house and landlord it. You know what you have to do? You have to landlord it, or you have to hire a property management company to landlord it. It's a whole thing. It's a whole fucking thing, okay? You could go to some advisor and have them, you know, invest for you. Maybe. That's pretty passive, I guess, but then you give them a good portion of what's earned. So, you know, like a lot of these things, if you want them to make you enough passive income to properly live off of, you'd have to have so much starting money. So that's why it's a little scary. A little scary. Most people don't have 1 million to live off interest. It's not that easy. Yeah, you literally have to put away like 500,000 minimum to like live off of interest. And that's assuming you already have a house paid for and a car paid for. You're just paying like insurance and standard bills, you know. You're still gonna live like pretty normally, not like, you know, crazily. So it's it's not easy to make that work. And like Prime said before, if you could get passive income, everyone would do it. Yeah, if you could just have it, literally everyone would do it. So, said if you move closer to LA, you're probably going to rent your house. For your own sake, that's the smart thing. Yeah. Yep. Starting money needs to be enough where 5% is your annual spending. It's a very rare thing. It's so much. It's so much. So it's to the point where, like, if you have an extra 100,000, do you even try to get that extra couple thousand out of it by letting it sit there, or do you just buy yourself some shit and go get a job? All right. At what point does it, like, literally not even matter? Know what I mean? You said it's so easy. Be afflicted by a crippling mental illness like you are and get disability money.
My property when I move out west,
Yeah.
but that's on a house I bought in 2012.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? Is you have to pay someone to do it if you're trying to move somewhere. Otherwise, you have to live right near that thing that you own and keep showing up, right? I don't know, man. I don't know. Real estate should be a sound investment for that amount. Should be, quote, should be, but there are times where it's really not. It's hit or miss. It's so hit or miss. There's so many things that can go wrong. It's kind of like, it's a good amount of risk, you know? It is. There are things you can invest in where you can just throw your money into some VC and hope it works, but they usually don't want you unless you're, like, giving a lot. Paying a property manager instantly halves your income or more on properties. It's crazy, man. You could do, like, I guess you could own a franchise of something. And if you want to pay other people to run it, you could do that, maybe. And that does, again, paying other people to run things, so it's hands off for you, really does cut into your profit a lot. But that's something, at least, I guess. But it depends on what you're trying to franchise. That does cost a lot. Owning McDonald's franchise is probably crazy. I mean, yeah, but I don't know what their franchise fees are. Every company has their own franchise fee. And a lot of the time they're, depending on how corporate it is, sometimes they're like really hands off. Sometimes they're really not. Sometimes you have to do a proposal and you're like, hello, company. I want to franchise your restaurant. I want to do it here. You have to show them a location, a business plan, how you're getting the funds, and, you know, preferably you already have them, your history with doing things like this, blah, 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 who you're going to hire. You have to, like, put up this whole proposal and then hope they say yes. Hope that they say yes. And then, you know, you rent out a place. Now you have to buy all the equipment from them. It's probably standard, and they save, or they make you specifically buy it straight from them. And then you have to pay them fees every month. You have a franchise fee you have to pay every month because you're using their brand. There's an upfront franchise fee as well. And there are all these things that you have to do, and it ends up being really, really expensive. So that's another thing that, like, could work, but number one, you need a lot of starting funds to do that. And then number two, you have to hope it works out. What if you open a Dunkin', you get a Dunkin' franchise, and everyone gets their morning coffee from you for a year, and you're making bank. And then next year, someone's like, Lamau, I franchised a Starbucks, and a Starbucks opens across the road, and everyone's like, oh my God, I love Starbies, and they all start drinking their coffee there. Now you're fucked, you know? You had a Krispy Kreme across the street too. Like, you know, like you can't really control that. So it's still risk that you're taking on, you know? That could be tough. That can be really tough. So you're starting to think Dunkin' doesn't do proposals? The amount of Dunkins you see right across from each other is wild. Yeah, down the same road too sometimes. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Buy a Subway franchise and then have some dude open a Subway in the same shopping center since they don't have any density controls. Yes. Actually, Subway is one of the really good ones for that, but it's not good. You knew the guy that owned every McDonald's in your hometown? He made less than you do. Yeah, because the franchise fees eat up so much of that profit. Like, you have to own 20 of them, you know? It's crazy. And again, there's some businesses like smaller franchises where you do kind of keep more of it typically, but then you have to be like really hands-on, really active. I don't know. There's some restaurants that don't even franchise. They have what looks like a franchise open. It's just another location, but they own it and they run it. They don't even let some random bozo be like, I want to own this franchise. They just don't do that for their own control, you know? They won't let it happen. You worked for a Quiznos franchise when you were a teen, quit after 3 months because the owner's son was the manager and he gave all the hours to the girls he was hitting on in front of his girlfriend, the other manager. I'm telling you, the little franchise drama goes crazy. Or if you ever know anyone who's been a waiter in like a Chili's or like one of those like really fast casual restaurants, I feel like there's so much drama between all the people. It's so juicy for no reason. No fucking reason. Or little diners, a little mom and pop diner, and they have a bunch of employees there. Oh, the workplace drama goes insane. Boba shops have been popping up recently. Yeah, well, the margins on drinks are crazy. If you're going to sell anything in the food and drink industry, you want it to be alcohol, okay? Because alcohol, the margins are insane. You spend $1 for this huge bottle that you're going to sell out for like $100 because you make little fancy drinks with them.
Owning a business seems like such a gamble.
It is. That's why people with a fuck ton of money tend to own all of them, because if one fails, they have 3 other that will be okay. So like the risk isn't that high for them. But you don't really see many people owning just one thing and then like that working out for them every time, you know, because the risk is high. But yeah, no, drink margins are crazy. So alcohol is crazy, but then drinks themselves, like normal drinks, if you own a tea shop or whatever, those margins are really high too. Really, really high too. Especially if it's freshly made. So you've got like a boba shop or something. The margins are crazy compared to food. So of course everyone wants to own them. So now there's like a billion tea shops opening everywhere, and a lot of them are going under because those are also, you know, too many on the same damn street sometimes. In the city, we have some streets that have like 3 boba shops on the same block, and I'm like, brother, who is having this much? Now, don't get me wrong, I love tea, and I'm a big tea drinker. I don't like the tapioca pearls. I hate them actually, but I love boba in general. I love going for tea, and that's great. But some of these drinks, I always ask for less sugar. Some of them are so sweet. Some of them are fucking desserts. I hate tiger sugar. I hate it. The flavor is good, but just drink a fucking milkshake, okay? It's not even tea. There's not even tea in it half the time in most of their normal shit. It's so sweet. It's too fucking much. And they're opening everywhere, and I see people getting tiger sugar like every morning, and I'm like, dude, you're drinking milk and brown sugar blended together and a bunch of syrup every day. And they're like, oh, it's a tea. And I'm like, there's no tea in this one. Like there's no tea in this one. So what do you and they're going crazy. And then there's this one girl I know, she was like complaining about how she's like gaining weight, and I was like, girl, you drink tea every day, but it's not even tea. It's just like a bunch of milk and brown sugar. Like you're having a dessert every morning. There's nothing wrong with that if you're like working out, working it off, but of course you're gaining weight if like you have this every day, the whole thing, and you don't like ask for less sweetness or anything. It's literal sugar milk. Like what did you expect? And she was like, it has tea in the name, and I was like, there's no tea in this. There are a lot of teas that don't actually have tea in them, quote unquote, from boba shops. So like, I don't know, dude. I don't know. I was like, just get a black tea with like some sort of fruit in it, or like a little milk in it. Like, then that would be tea. I'd be like, okay. Brown sugar and tea sounds like a crime. It's actually a nice combination. It's usually milk, brown sugar, and tea together. But a lot of those, they started not doing the black tea at all. It's literally just like slightly whipped milk, so it's a little on the thick side. So a little heavy cream, and then a bunch of brown sugar and like boba in it. It's like, it might as well be a milkshake. You know, it's crazy. And it's delicious, okay? That brown sugar syrup is so good. It's so good. But like, that's not an everyday thing, you know? Not at all, dude. It's crazy. Yeah, it's like melted ice cream, sort of. They got rid of the tea because it actually tastes like something. Well, that's the thing. I actually thought it was better with it because, well, I like tea, you know? So I feel like the black tea flavor in there is good. I get really disappointed if I get something like that. It says tea on it and I drink it. There's no actual tea in it. I'm like, fuck, you know? That's what I wanted. But I don't know. I don't know, man. I usually go for something that's fruit-based and you can cut down the sugar on it a lot, so it just tastes like tea and some fresh fruit blended in it or some shit, and I'm good. You know? I'm good with that. Thing is, it wouldn't be as bad if a lot of people get a morning coffee and then a boba later almost daily. Yeah, it's a lot. What's your favorite type of tea? I like a lot of them. I like a standard black tea. I like oolong. I like a really mild barley tea, actually. I like a lot of them. I think actually green tea is my least favorite, but it depends. There's certain green teas that are really good, and then a lot of them not my favorite. You like Earl Grey? I like Earl Grey, but it's like it's hit or miss on the variety. Some of them are really great. Some of them are like sharp in a way that I don't like. Depends. Depends. You like matcha? I don't like matcha. You're matcha gang. Not for me. Not for me. Not for me at all. But yeah, oolong is like, dude, getting like a peach oolong or citrus oolong is just goated. Goated. Or my favorite thing is winter melon. Anything with winter melon in it, I'm instantly, I'm getting that one. I'm getting that one. Whatever tea it's mixed with, don't care if it has winter melon in it, I get it. That's my favorite. Always. You usually drink water or Pepsi. Fuck it. You know what? Soda's terrible for you. So are a lot of things. Have a little bit. Live a little. Whatever. People are like demonizing soda and then they drink their fucking tiger sugar, all milk, all brown sugar, whipped up ass ice cream drink. And they're like, soda's so bad for you. And I'm like, I mean, you're not wrong, but so is that shit. So is that shit, man. Now, caveat, soda's acidic. Another, check off, ruins your teeth, whatever you want to say. But like, yeah, they're all bad for you, man. They're all terrible. You like kale smoothies, Blazing? I hate kale. Oh, I hate kale so much. I hate it. And I like a lot of vegetables. I like a lot of dark green leafy things. I don't like kale. Fuck kale. You know what? Fuck kale. So what the fuck is winter melon? I'll show you a picture. You don't really, it's known as wax gourd. You don't really see this in Western cuisine at all. It's a type of melon. It looks like a weird cucumber when you cut into it. I like it. A lot. It's used as a flavoring in a lot of drinks and stuff. Look at that. Winter melon. Winter melon. I like it. I think it goes really well in a lot of drinks. It's I believe cucumber adjacent actually. A little sweeter. It's a fruit. It's kind of like, I won't say tastes like it, but it gives the same type of flavor profile as like a honeydew, where it's just like a very light melon flavor. It's refreshing. It's quite watery, a bit watery. It's just very refreshing is how I'd put it, which is, I like that. I wouldn't say it tastes like honeydew in the actual flavor itself, but it gives the same feeling. I'd use it for the same things. I like it. I would say it's not as good to eat separately as honeydew is, because honeydew is way more sweet. This is not a super sweet thing. Yeah, it's like a mildly sweet cucumber kind of. That's basically what it is. It's really good. I like it a lot. It's not ultra sugary or anything. It's a bit more fibrous. But it's really nice if you like blend it into drinks and stuff. So a lot of tea shops will do like a winter melon tea, and they just blend some of this into it. And it's nice. It's really good. But that's like my favorite. That's my favorite. But it's very light, very light. You said if you could tell me it's a cucumber and I believe you. They're related. They're closely related. Yeah. Yeah. You used to muddle cucumber into your gin drinks. Do you think this would go well in that regard? Yes, this would work for it because it's like slightly sweeter than cucumber. Cucumber is more of like standard vegetable kind of flavor, right? Where it's like not ultra sweet. It's a little bit. This is a little mildly sweeter. I think it would go really well. I haven't really seen winter melon get used in a lot of like cocktails and things, but I think it would go really well. It's just that it's an Asian thing. So I think a lot of Western bars are not gonna be like, oh, let me get winter melon and make a winter melon cocktail. Like I don't really see that, but I think it would work really well, honestly. If any of you like bartending, gonna find one of these and test. You should do it. You should do it. I like them, but I also like a lot of things that are like very light, very like mildly flavored. I go crazy on them. So winter melon, I love all sorts of melon, things like cantaloupe, whatever, but honeydew is like my favorite. I'll just destroy it. I'll eat a whole honeydew alone, you know? So I'm just one of those. I love crunchy water. I love watermelon, etc., etc. Is there anything you like that is too much, like over-infused tea or something sweet to death? I like really rich, fatty foods. I'm not a sugar person, but I'm like an oils and fats person. So I like ultra marbled beef. I like pork belly. I like you ever have like donpo pork? Like it's like pork belly that's braised, simmered, and it's kind of reddish. It's got this thick sauce on it. It's like in a broth, and it's just all the fat is intact. You don't cook the fat off of it because you super slowly simmer it. I go crazy on that. That's the kind of stuff that I really like. But I have a lot of friends that if they eat that, they can't eat a lot of it because it's so rich that it makes them like, you know, yeah, Blaze, you said it makes you vomit. It's too much. Yeah. Yeah, I know a lot of people that like, they have 2 pieces and they're like, that was so good. I can't have any more though. And then I'm eating like the whole thing. I like really rich foods. Really rich foods. But also, I don't eat a lot of carbohydrates. So my diet's a little like it needs to be oil and fat heavy a little bit for me to not like die. So I derive a lot of my energy from that rather than you know, going in on like rice and shit. You can't stand the texture of fat. I love it. I love it. I'm not like fully keto, not fully keto. I would never do a full keto diet. I think I would hate it personally, but that is just generally how my diet is a little. Any strong opinion on parsnips versus carrots? Ooh, I like both. I like both. I don't know. I'm a parsnip Andy. They're so expensive in the US because not many people are eating and growing parsnips. Everyone's growing carrots. They're so abundant and available. So a lot of stores you can't even find them. And if you wanted to find them, they're probably a bit more expensive. So, you know, I grew up as a brokey, and we never bought parsnips ever. I never had them for the longest time because you had to pay a little more for them, and why do that when you could just buy a carrot, right? So that's just how it is. That's just how it is. Ooh. You're gonna make a veggie garden this year just for new veggies. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. Never knew what that's what a parsnip was other than a funny word. I think if you go and eat at nice restaurants, a lot of the time they'll have parsnips on the side. They're good. They were just never available. Never ever. Anything you hated as a kid but love as an adult? That's a good question. I feel like I always loved a lot of the things that I love now. What's actually changed? I don't know. I kind of always loved everything, and then I have a few foods that I don't like. I'm picky with some stuff, but I never like those, you know? Hi, Bruce. We're talking about food. Raiders, we're talking about pickiness with foods, what you do and don't like. We're just talking about parsnips. Someone asked if there was anything I hated as a kid but love it as an adult. You know what? I always loved broccoli. I always loved cauliflower, but there are a lot of related vegetables that I didn't love as a kid, and I think Brussels sprouts are one of those. I think they're incredible now. I think they're incredible, but yeah, at the time, fuck that. Yeah. You said parsnips are good, but can't be overcooked. Otherwise, they're just worse potatoes. You're right. You said avocados. I hated them then, hate them now. I'm sorry. I do not like avocados. I can't do it. I can't do it. They taste like creamy nothing, but a little off. Just a little something, and whatever that little something is, I don't like it. Yeah, I think they're gross. Texture and flavor. I'm good. I'm good. I'm okay. So Brussels and bacon is god tier. I don't do them with bacon. I just season them well and they're good. Oh, you said coconut. Personally hated as a kid. Love it now. I can't do coconut. I think I'm mildly allergic. I'll still have it anyway. But I'm mildly allergic, so I get like a little itchy around the lips, around the mouth and stuff. So I try to avoid it if I can. I do. I don't love it to begin with, but I don't hate it. I still have cocoa bread all the time. I won't stop. But if I have like fresh, it kind of gets me. Ooh, you hated blueberries as a tiny child? Yeah, I actually hated berries too. That's a good one. I hated those. Now, much better with it. Much better with it. What is this comment? So much of this is Anglo cooking being shit with boiling rather than actually using oil. Boiling something versus using oil is so much healthier for you, number one. Number two, there's a lot of fucking oil used in Western cooking as well. It's both. Number three, Anglo cooking. Anglo cooking, huh? I'm gonna remember that. You said that. You said you liked Brussels sprouts as a kid and fucking hate them now? The opposite? I feel like it's usually the other way around. You said I stand by it. I don't think you've had enough of it. I think you're factually wrong, but you probably haven't experienced enough Western cooking. Guac exists because avocados are flavorless. Yeah, they're like a flavor vehicle. You just season it with whatever and it tastes like that thing. Right? Liver, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, ranch. Okay, liver is something I never liked, never will. And I like a lot of organ meats and things. I like a lot of gamey meats. I like a lot of like I eat every part of the animal, whatever. Liver though, I can't do it. I cannot do it. Blackberries for you. Oh, yeah. Used to hate collard greens. No, they're so good. They're so good. I understand not liking them as a kid. I think that's pretty common though. Remember being told boiling cooks all the nutrients out of food, but I don't know if that's true. It depends on how much. If you boil the shit out of them, eventually a lot of the goodness does leach out of it into the water. But you either use it for broth or something, or you just don't. People just overboil shit. That's the problem. Boiling is really good, but you have to treat it like you're kind of blanching it. Like you just get it cooked and then take it out. The problem is people boil things for way too long and overcook them. And that's when it's like a real problem,
Happy Mother's Day, GEEGA smile.
Meg, thank you. Thank you for the bits. Hope you're well. You hated mac and cheese as a kid? Oh my god. Oh my god. Used to hate eggs growing up. Oh, I always loved eggs. I always did. I used to like soft-boiled eggs. I used to like having the yolk separately. Now I hate it. I don't know why. I just cannot stand it. I always scramble them. I keep the egg and yolk together. I don't eat the yolk separately. For whatever reason nowadays, it started to bother me at some point. I don't know why. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. So I almost always scramble or combine them in some way. But what I used to do is I used to make soft-boiled eggs, throw them in like a big mug, and I would just like have toast on the side and just shove it in there. I would season the eggs and I just smash the toast into it and just pull it out like a spoon and eat it. I used to do that. That's how my dad eats eggs. He always did that. He'd take a fork and like break them up just a little bit and then just like shove the toast in there and eat it. I used to do the same thing. Nowadays, I don't know why I hate the separate yolk. I just hate it. Yeah, fewer dishes. That's the thought behind it. Very easy and small mug to clean, Hated cantaloupe as a kid, but love it as an adult. You think the people who offered it to you as a child weren't getting good ripe cantaloupe. That actually is such a big thing, right, of deciding whether or not you like a food. A lot of the time, people will be like, oh, here's this thing, and you just don't realize that you have a shitty version of it. A lot of fruits and vegetables not properly ripened. just a variety of it that you don't like. A lot of meat's not properly cooked. You know how many people I know that are like, I never was really into steak, but they were just eating shitty steak because so few people know how to make good steaks. They think they know, but they don't. They do a shitty job at a lot of restaurants. A lot of steakhouses just do a shit job, man. So bad. So bad. You thought you were a picky eater growing up, but your parents were just terrible cooks. Yeah, it really affects it. It really affects it. It's rough, man. My mom has a few things that she can cook really well, and then a lot of stuff where she lacks fundamentals. So there are a lot of foods and things that I thought I didn't like. Same thing. I thought I didn't like them. Turns out she just didn't know how to cook them. So pretty young, I realized this was the case. Ate at some friends' houses, whatever, and some of their parents were like, no, you cook this thing like this. My grandmother was a good cook, okay, but my mother just didn't absorb that for whatever reason. So I learned from a lot of older family members, and then friends, and just I would watch shows, you know, the French chef. I would watch these things and try to learn fundamentals, and that helped a lot. So I started making a lot of my own food. And I'd be like, sit down and relax, Mom. I'll cook today. And she'd be like, oh, that's so nice of you. And I'd be like, yeah, I just don't want to eat shitty steak that I can't stand because you want to broil it. Imagine someone taking a cheap cut of beef, deciding it's going to be a steak, and just broiling it every time. That's what she would do. She would just broil it. And I'm like, what? And she'd be like, it sears the outside. Yeah, it sears the inside too. Okay. Like, I would be like, do this in a pan. And she'd be like, I'm just going to broil it because I don't want to deal with the grease popping everywhere. I don't want to clean it. And I'm like, yo, I don't want to eat it. There are a lot of steaks that you just can't broil like that. You just can't. She also likes her meat more well done. She always likes it like somewhat well done, which I think is disgusting. I like it rare. So I would just, cook hers separately. But she would broil the fuck out of it. And I'd be like, dude, I don't want to eat leather. But that was what she liked. She was cooking to her taste. So, I don't know, man.
Best decision I ever made was going to the Culinary Institute of America for college.
I always wanted to go to a school like that for like a semester. Just to do it. Just to do it, but I don't want to actually be a chef, Not for workplace kind of stuff. No thanks. You learned all your kitchen skills working as a line cook. Honestly, yeah, I feel like it's one of those things everyone should be taught baseline. And I know a lot of schools have home ec. In the US, a lot of the time you do home economics, which is not what it sounds like anymore. It's just glorified cooking. But they don't teach basics, I feel. They give you 2 recipes and make you make them, and then they're like, yeah, you made them. And I feel like you don't actually learn anything through that. Like, nothing's reinforced. So, I don't know. Idiot fan. Thank you for the 19 months. I don't know. Your home ec didn't even teach you how to bake bread. Yeah. I think they need to teach fucking balancing a damn checkbook. Okay, that's what it's supposed to be. Your home ec class had you doing box brownies. That's fucked. I think I took 1 in middle school, and I never took it in high school. I had friends that did, but I was like, this shit's useless. And I remember they had them learning sewing, and a bunch of them got like a kit to make stuffed animals, like a little simple stuffed animal. And they were like sewing it by hand. And I remember so many kids just sitting there at lunchtime sewing these stuffed animals by hand. And I was like, thank God I'm not taking that stupid class. Man, they should have taught you how to like repair a rip. Give you a piece of fabric and they rip it, and then they go repair this, and do it like this. That would have been so much more useful. Here's how you hem pants. Here's a ring of fabric. Let's hem it over and over. That would have been so much better than making them make a stupid stuffed animal off of a pattern. I mean, I don't know. It made no sense. You did pudding from scratch in your home ec class and made sweaters. See, that sounds more like a thing that you're learning, right? I don't know. Ooh, you did sewing and embroidering. Oh, embroidering is cool. I like embroidery. I like little things like that. My grandmother taught me how to embroider, how to knit, crochet, all those things. She was really, really, really good at it. So what she would do is if she was repairing a little spot on a piece of clothing and it looked too conspicuous, sometimes she would embroider something over it. She would do that. At least teach him how to sew a button back on. Yeah, you hear him? Look. What's going on? He gave up. I think cooking is probably the most useful though, out of everything. Because paying a tailor to occasionally fix a rip in something or hem something, not so bad, right? Doing a little something here and there, not so bad. Cooking, you have to do like all the time though. You have to eat all the time. Being able to cook for yourself and not burn things down is great. Being able to cook for yourself and not have to go out and buy food all the time is great for your wallet. So I feel like that out of all the things they could teach you in home ec, it should probably be focused on cooking and then just finances. I don't think they teach you enough about finance. That's something that I think has left it. It was called home economics because it was supposed to be like how to run a household, and then it turned into like a couple little skills. Laundry and ironing, that would be good actually. Yeah. Advanced chores, I think it would be solid. I know in my high school what they had a lot of them do was gardening. So there was some sort of like mini vegetable garden, and they would teach them some basic stuff related to that. It was like like a rooftop one, and it was cool. It was nice, and I thought that was more useful for people. But I don't know why they don't teach taxes in school. I don't know. I really don't know. I think everyone should have to like be given a mock data set and have to quote unquote do their own taxes, like do all the forms. They change all the time. They don't change that much. You just have to fill out a form. They really don't change that much. And if the form changes, it's still the tax forms, if you want to just do them by hand and hand them in and not use a program to do it, they are so easy. It is just box by box. Do this, then do this. Take this from this box and do this to it. It is so fucking easy if you just go step by step. They're not hard. They're not complicated. Doing the form is not time consuming. It's just getting together the stuff that you have to get together. Like, what did I spend this year? That's time consuming, but you have to do that regardless. Whether you're handing that shit over to someone else or not, you have to do that. So, it's really not that bad. And if they do change, they barely change. That's intentional. They want you to screw up on your taxes. They can charge you fines. I genuinely don't think that is completely the case. Because I think the form is a complete no-brainer. I can think of a lot of ways they could create dark patterns in the form that they don't. Okay? Those forms are lacking dark patterns. All right? So I actually think, no, it's completely matter of fact. It's really easy. You have over 400 separate investments. You buy TurboTax just so you don't have to write all this shit in. That's the thing that it helps, right? Like all the data entry, depending on what you've got. But if you're just a person with a job, they're so easy. My issue is that they don't tell you straight up what you owe and don't. Like, what the heck? How would they know that? The thing is, things don't work on the back end in the US like they work on the back end in some other places. So the way reporting is done is by the person. You do your own forms because they don't know how much money you make until you tell them. That is how that works. I know some other countries have like everything you do on file already, so you don't have to report to them. Someone else, like all employers, all transactions, everything got reported to them already, so they're able to then basically print a thing out for you and tell you this is what you owe. I know that is the case in some other countries. The US does not track everything you do like that per person, like the IRS doesn't, So they don't know what you made until you tell them. So you fill out the form and you report it. And then you pay what you're supposed to pay because the form is like, okay, instead of us taking this form and then waiting some time and then billing you, instead you can just pay it right now, and you do. And then if the amount you pay is wrong, they still do the math and they still do that, and they look at it and they check to see if it's incorrect. And if it is, they send you a bill and they're like, hey, here's what you still owe. That still happens, but the reporting has to happen, you know? Right. The IRS has your W-2 on file because your employer sends that info in, but they're not going to know about your Etsy shop. Exactly. And so many people have all these other things going on. Investments that you've got, they don't know about every little investment and keep that all on file 100%. They just have whatever your employer pays you, and that's it. So, you know, there's a lot of stuff that you have to report in. That's why. Are there any disadvantages to that kind of system? Because it sounds kind of nice. To what? To them knowing everything and then just billing you? Or to what we currently have in the US of like, we report it? Personally, I think when you have such a big country with so many people and you have all these different states that take different amounts of money and everything, what the current system is makes sense. Knowing everything, how would they? Is my question. How would they? Let's say you're W-2 with an employer and your employer reports all the incomes that are, you know, sent to all of their employees. Okay, they have that. What about if you are a contractor and you're W-2'd? Or not W-2, sorry, you're 1099'd. That doesn't get sent in. They don't send your info and say this person was 1099'd. This person was given contract work. They just say, I spent this much this year out in contractors. That's all they're reporting in. So they don't know that. Now, on top of that, let's say you're a streamer, okay? Let's say you're a streamer and you get money from Twitch, okay? And Twitch gives you a 1099 form. So Twitch knows how much they paid out to you. That's great. Okay, what about Stream Elements is your donation platform, and Stream Elements gave this amount of money to you. Okay, now also you have your merch store. Who's reporting the income that you get from that? So there are a lot of jobs where there are all these different things like that. And what if that merch store is in a different state, but I'm in another state, right? And like there are all these complex things going on that make it so that they just cannot know everything and just give you a bill. It's not possible. It's not like a refusal to do so. It's so complex that it doesn't work like that. You know, it just does not. It does not. In your experience, you don't know any contractors that actually file those taxes? Yeah, no, they don't. They don't. It's on the person getting paid to do it. So, there's a scale issue. Yeah. What TGN said, yeah. Basically, a lot of issues that are so different here. There will be a lot of like European countries, right? Where I have a lot of friends that are European. And a lot of the time, they'll be like, I just don't get why my country can do this, but yours can't. And I'm like, that's because look at the population. We have states that are the sizes of countries and all have different things going on with their financial systems. It's impossible. Scale is a thing. A lot of things that work on a smaller scale do not work on a bigger scale functionally. So it can't happen. End of story, right? Yeah, like you said, if Europe could just send a bill, the US should be able to. No. I'm saying literally no. And also Europe is not a country. You're thinking of European countries. Look at the size of these European countries. And look at how a lot of things that they do, as far as how they tax their people, are just kind of the same for mostly the whole country. It's very different. Something people don't realize about the US too, when they're not from the US a lot of the time, is a lot of things financially are not all at the federal level. A lot of things also exist at the state level, at the county level. It's very strong how much this is all affected depending on where you live. So that just means it's not possible to just go to the federal government and be like, tell me what I owe, you know? Everything's broken up into smaller pieces because those pieces are all like country-sized, right? So it just makes it a little more complex and just has to be that way, in my opinion. Is said, in Poland, employers are obligated to send your data to the government. It's processed automatically. If you earn something on the side or qualify for some tax relief, then you have to fill out some additional documents. Well, here's the thing. That's actually how it works in the U.S. If you're W-2'd, meaning you are a salaried full-time employee, your employer is obligated to send your data to the government. Yes. And it is sent there, and they know that. And if you do earn something on the side or qualify extra, you report that in. The only difference is there's a box that asks you what you made from your employer, that W-2 form, like what your employer already sent up. They also ask you about that just to make sure that you have the right number. That's it. It's basically the same system. Anyone who's trying to tell you that it's way more complicated for a person who just has a standard job is just lying. They're just being stupid. Like, it's basically what you're saying. The difference is you live in a state within your country, so you have to report it to your country and to your state, because your state has their own cut that they take, and the country has a cut that they take. That's all. Why would they ask twice? Because you have to fill in a total number. You have to fill in a total number, and then also, yeah, state and federal are a little different. So you write it down anyway, because it's going to get cross-checked anyway, right? That's just how it is. So California has just become the 4th largest economy in the world. Yeah. Well, they're state-wise, like land-wise, people-wise, they're very big, very big. You said, I'd argue that if it works with 10 million people, it works with 300 million people. No. That's something that's actually, like, I'm not saying this to be an asshole. It just is fundamentally incorrect. Scale complicates things more than people realize. Scale is not simply number go up or horizontal expansion, meaning more of the same thing. Scale doesn't work like that, and I think most people's idea of scale is that thing gets bigger, therefore it's the same. But it doesn't actually, when in practice, that does not work, unfortunately, with a lot of things. This is why so many companies get fucked up the bigger they go. Because you want to think, oh, it's just more of the same. It's just more of the same. It's not more of the same. It's not copy paste. And I want to like get more deep into it, but I'm trying to keep it like very simple. It just doesn't work like that. As much as you think it works like that, it just doesn't. It's very interesting. It's very interesting, actually. And I love looking at these issues. I love looking at how things scale and don't scale, honestly. You said some folks also work in different states than they live in. Yeah. It's a lot of complex stuff. So that's why self-reporting is what you do in the US, you know? It's literally the easiest way, or the most simple way. The way to guarantee that your stuff is done most correctly is you know your own situation. They give you a form, you fill out yes, no, yes to this, no to this amount here, that amount there, in a little box, boom, you're done. That's all. That's why scalability is such an important concept in business, especially in IT. You know what I realized in my career before I was a streamer, in my work life? I realized that the number one thing that separated the people that could be C-level or could be like director level in a company and how they think versus the people that work at a smaller scale and just like aren't cut out for those kinds of jobs, the biggest difference is their ability to understand scale, their ability to understand issues at a large scale. That was the number one thing that separated those people's thinking and what would make someone cut out to end up being a CEO versus not. And I found that there was a small number of people that really were able to like get that. And it's hard to explain. It's hard to explain it, but like truly that was, I felt, the biggest difference between those people. There were also people that end up in those roles that didn't understand scale well at all, and they were fucking useless, you know, in their jobs, and everyone knew it. But the people that really did understand that stuff well and understand how complex things get when they get bigger and are able to wrap their heads around these issues are the people that make like good upper level staff. And honestly, it's not a lot of people. I'd say it's more often people that started in some sort of engineering or something like that. They're able to kind of see those problems in practice, and then you put them in a business environment, and you know they're able to kind of apply the same thinking there. I find a lot of those folks would do well, but also those kinds of folks don't like it. A lot of engineers don't want to be a business guy, so a lot of people that were cut out for those kinds of jobs just didn't want it. They were like, nah, I like my engineer job. I'll stay here. But it's tough, man. Yeah, it's exponentially harder to manage the larger you go. Pretty much. It's rough. It's like there are different thresholds to how difficult it gets. I don't know, man. Working on single projects versus juggling a bunch of them, managing totally different. Yeah, it's a lot of different stuff. There's like project managers versus program managers. That's one of those things that people don't get. A lot of folks think that's the same shit, just scaled up, and I'm like, no. no, it's not. It's not the same thing scaled up. It's way more complex, but okay, you know. Being put in charge of others sucks. Yes. I agree with that statement. I can't go into too much detail, but yes, I agree. It's so much better being able to just do your own shit. Doesn't always work like that in the world, but man, is that real. Also, Hawkstop, I get what you're saying, but you're just doing math. You're talking about mathematical scale just being increased, but a lot of these issues have a lot of functional problems that arise only when beyond certain scaled thresholds, and they compound. Does that make sense? So you're just like, oh, the difference from 10 million to 300 million is this much of an increase. And on paper as a number, yeah, it's not that crazy. But it's, I mean, we're speaking vaguely about a number getting bigger. It doesn't equate in a lot of real life functional problems. It doesn't. Math doesn't take into account human factor. Yeah. It's true. Also, I agree with what you said, Ragnar. A lot of things, like with better systems, could be improved. That's true. But, right, like you said, like changing things that are already in place that are really large, like changing the system is usually such a headache and such a cost that it's cheaper and makes more sense to just leave things as they are, which sucks. But that's just one of those, like, that's how the world works kind of things. It is. That's why I always liked working in tech, because we would, like, see these big problems that could be made more efficient with different systems and try and fix them using that. And that's a really cool thought, because you think of efficiency and you're like, this is so great, this frees up people. So let's, you know, people put less effort into these things in these ways. It keeps things happening consistently, blah, blah, blah. But then no matter what kind of great system you build, you still have Joe Schmo doing data entry wrong, and it doesn't fix shit. So, and that's why I'm jaded, and I love being a streamer. I love being a streamer. I love it. Yeah, fucking Joe. I built you this whole system to do this thing. It should work for thousands of people, make everything good. And then Joe's like, I don't want to be trained on it. Also, I'm tenured, so I'm not going to leave my job. There you go. That's the tech work experience, man. It's just, we're just going to use COBOL for 10 years, you know, etc., etc., etc. Joe's usually not touching that part, but still. Exceptional Joe problems when you scale up. Yeah. People are people. People are people, and people need things simplified, and yeah. Yeah, and that's why when I became a streamer, I was like, oh, you know, I'll probably go back to working the job that I worked. And then I did this for a while, and I was like, wow, you know, I don't have to deal with any of that. Maybe I'll stay here for a bit. Maybe I'll do this until I can't, you know? That's just how it is. Yeah, the one problem you can never solve is people. I think working in tech, you realize that very quickly. Or maybe for some people, I think it actually is a long time to realize that. I would have so many friends working in tech. We'd be working on a project. They would say, I want to solve this thing this way. I've written this out on paper. This is the best solution to this problem. And I would go, okay. All right, what about the people doing this work? I want to make a program that lets someone do this. Okay, now somebody has to use that program. Who has this type of job? Is that person going to use this program? Nuh-uh, they're going to keep writing notes on paper in front of them. They don't want to use this thing, etc., etc. So you learn working in tech that you're like working against people so much. And I find that's why a lot of people in that industry get pretty frustrated with the job. And that's why they tend to like being just a programmer in a basement more than a higher level thing where they're trying to talk to someone and explain, oh, this type of system could do this, blah, 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 blah. They are like, just pay me to do my job and I'm leaving. I don't want to be a part of that because they just, they don't want to deal with users. Right? It's rough, man. It's rough. How much pain is the limited management you do today with like editors, artists, and freelancers, etc., compared to the tech? Not that painful. Much easier. Much easier. It's a lot of stuff. It's time consuming, but it's not that bad. And I'm in control. These people are working for me 100%. I'm not making anything for any of them, so I don't have to worry about any of it, really. So it's much easier. In tech, you're often making a product for a user. So it's like, no matter how good you think this one feature is, or, oh, it should be done this way, you have to look at it and go, yeah, people don't have that behavior. They're not going to do this thing, though, and you have to, like, adjust it. But, like, when you're in content creation, you're just doing your shit, and the people are helping you do your shit. It's a very different experience, so I like it. It's nice. Yeah, you said working in tech is mostly spent trying to convince people they need to use this new thing you're working on. Yeah, that's already been paid for, that they've already been told about. You still have to explain it to them. That's the caveat, right? It's crazy. Can't imagine you miss all the corporate bureaucracy. Not at all. Not at all. And I was often in a position where I had to be that communicator. And I'd have to sit there and tell people why their ideas wouldn't work. I would have to sit there and tell a team why their ideas were really good on paper but wouldn't work for a user. And then I'd have to sit there and tell users why their ideas are not possible to make. And it was just telling people no over and over. And then when I would like crawl back into my basement and sit there and type and just build a thing for a while, I felt so at peace because I was like, oh my God, there are no people here. No one I have to sit there and explain anything to or tell no to. I can just sit here and make a thing. And so I loved the making stuff part of the job. I loved it. But yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. So I love streaming in comparison. You know, it's nice. Knowing a nice manner is the best soft skill. Yeah, you do a lot of it too. You get really good at it. You do. Your brother made a program thing for his work and half of his time was making a manual to go with it. Oh my God, documentation, the amount of time you have to spend on documentation because you have to make a thing for someone to use and then you have to hand them a manual. So if they forget, or if you're not there to teach them, you just have to be able to hand them some documentation so they can look through and learn how to use it, learn every quirk, know how to fix it, whatever. And brother, the amount of time that takes, and then they still need tech support because they can't refer to the manual. Oh. It's crazy. They put it on SharePoint and never freaking click the link. Yeah. You can look at the view history and see that there's fucking nothing for certain programs. It's funny. What'd you say? You work as an industrial automation engineer. A lot of processes at factories are being replaced by automated systems, and I feel like I work against people who said making their jobs disappear. Yes and no, but every time you replace something, typically something new pops up, though. Now people are needed to maintain these things, to understand these things. There's a lot that's still done there. You're making a specific job disappear, but now something that's a bit more tech related is opening and popping up. So I find that it's not always the case. It depends on what. Maybe it might be fewer roles that pop up. That's true. I'm a proponent of doing that with everything. I think we should systemize and automate everything in this world that's possible to free people up. Problem is, world doesn't work like that. They're just gonna like still expect money from you anyway. But you know, utopia or something. I don't know. Whatever the fuck. You like how SEO became and then stopped being a job. Things are shifting. Things are always shifting. You know, people used to make everything by hand, and now they really don't. Things always get replaced. That's just how it is. I think you can doom about a specific role being replaced, but I don't think you can doom about like everything being replaced. You know what I mean? With streaming, you can choose when you interact with people. With most jobs, you don't. That's huge. That's huge. I have a lot of days where I like am totally fine streaming, and then occasionally I have one day here and there where I'm like, I can't interact with people today. Or not for this period of time. I just like my battery's drained. And I have the option to say, fuck it, I'll just stream tomorrow instead. You know, fuck it. I'll just move it back. You can't do that at a lot of other jobs. And that is the one thing that I like the most. So, you know. You know. You say you used to send people all the time messages where you'd say, refer to page X in the manual. Yeah. And they still wouldn't. They'd be like, can you screenshot it and send it to me? Where's the manual again? I don't know where the manual is. SEO people can just transition into prompt engineering. They're both the tech equivalent of reading and trails. Yeah. There's something out there for you. There's something out there for you. Other jobs, the day you're feeling off is precisely when chaos will break out. Yeah, I mean, the caveat is like, if I'm a streamer and I'm like, oh, let me take a day off. Not replace it or move a stream back. Let me take a day off. You just lose income for that. That's it. You just lose momentum and you lose income for it. So you don't have sick days that you can use. You don't have any guarantee that you can get paid for a certain amount of time or anything like that. It's literally the amount you work, you get that out of it. So yes, you can be like, I can take any day I want off, but also you do not get paid for it. So, you know, it's just kind of it's a big catch. Some people really don't do well. Actually, a lot of people don't do well in that environment, but yeah, for me, it's a little rough. It makes you nervous, and it makes you'll see some streamers that like take a lot of time off and they're fine. You see some streamers that never take time off. They refuse. And it's because a lot of the time, number one, they might just be used to it, but number two, a good number of them are fearful. They're very fearful of taking time off because that means losing income, but also they're like, every day I'm not streaming, I'm not gaining, and not gaining is bad. And it's not just about income, it's just about everything, you know? And they care a lot about their business, and it makes them so anxious that a lot of them just won't do it. They just won't do it. Yeah, me too, Mithril. You said you've always been in jobs where a day off just means you're doing double when you return to make up for it at the same pay. Yeah, I for me, it didn't matter how much time I was punched in for a lot of things I did. I just had to produce the results. So no matter what, that was getting done. So if I didn't do it that day, it was all getting done the next day, you know, or whatever. Like there was no, oh, I'll just have less time put into something. Like the time that you put into something was always the same because that thing had to get done. So I feel you. I feel you. Even follows are super valuable. Yeah. Like I see some chatters are a bit weird about like CCV. I don't know why they get involved in talking about it at all, but some chatters are odd about CCV. And I remember I was in a friend's stream. This was like a couple of months ago. I thought it was such a weird comment. There's a chatter that so my friend was streaming, and it was like a slow day for her, and her CCV was about a third lower than it usually is. And she knew that. She could see it. She was still streaming. She's streaming through it. Not a lot of new people are coming in, but there's some. She's streaming a game category where a few new people are coming in and being like, oh, I like this game, whatever. Some chatter comes in and is like, you know, honestly, I wonder if it's like, they meant this as a nice comment. They were like, I wonder if it's even worth you streaming right now because like it's so low. Maybe just end stream and take a break. Because she said something about being tired. They weren't saying it to me mean. Like I get what they were saying. They were like, she said she was tired, and they were like, well, you say you're tired and like things are looking a little low today. Like you could just take time off, I guess. It was kind of weird. But I was like, more is more though. Like even if the CCV is low, you're still putting time in front of your core people. You're playing ads at least, you know, like you're still gaining something. To have that attitude of like, just don't even do it. Yeah, something is better than nothing, right? I was like, what? It was so weird. I was like, what are they saying? The only thing that's affected is it by your average going down. Like if you do a lot of extra hours at low CCV and your like monthly average goes down, the only thing that is affected is potentially how much money sponsors will give you. The only money that's calculated off of your CCV is sponsorship money. And it's not always directly calculated because you can tell them, yeah, when I stream these things, my CCV is lower or at these times, but when I stream at those days and times or these other things, it's higher. So you can pitch them and say, well, I'm going to stream your game at this time on a normal day, so it's going to be at this higher whatever. And they'll still calculate off of that. So even if your average looks lower for some reason, like you can still just bargain, you know, and just be like, look, it makes sense. And they'll be like, okay. So it's just one of those things where I was like, this literally doesn't affect anything. It was so weird. I don't know. It was odd. It was odd. Imagine going into a retail store and telling them to close because it's slow. Yeah. Like, I get what they're saying if you're getting, like, one sale out of 8 hours of sitting there at a counter. I get that. But, like, if 2/3 of your people are still there, like, did he want her to be like, oh, fuck them? Like, you know what I mean? I was like, huh? I understand maybe extending if you get a raid and there's a lot of new people there and you want to stream for longer for them. Like being additive for that. I get that. But it being low and being like, fuck them, I'm not even going to do a normal stream. That says to me, like, the guy's implying, like, your just smaller core audience isn't even worth it. Right? Like, that's what that said to me. And I was like, ew. I don't know. It was so odd. So odd, dude. Pellicini, thank you for the tier 3 for 45 months. Welcome back. So I get that if you're feeling really poorly, otherwise keep on. A small audience is still valuable. Right. That's the thing, is like, if you normally have 300 people there, today you only have 200, but you're almost always at 300. What, do those 200 people not matter? Right? Like, that's what that said to me, and I was like, huh? Okay. All right. It was so odd. It's such a weird way to think about it. Also, the people that show up, like, no matter what, they're not just there just cause. The people that are there, like, no matter what you do, tend to be those, like, 200 that are always there, right? Aren't those the ones that you care about the most? It doesn't mean you don't care about the others, but aren't those, like, the core? I don't know. It was just one of those things where I was like, everything about this mindset is flipped in the wrong direction. It was so odd. So weird. Like, if I'm not feeling well and things aren't doing well, I'm not going to be like, yeah, I'm done after an hour. See you guys. Fuck all you. You know what I mean? Like, like, I don't get that. I don't understand. I don't know. Such a weird thing, right? They can be super active. Yeah, those are the people that chat the most anyway, right? I don't know. Have you been offlining blueprints? Yeah, I'm offlining a little bit. I'll bring it back when I feel like there's like a new thing to show, or I'll like record stuff, or I'll do it on alt or whatever. Like, it'll get shown. But yeah, I've just been doing the occasional run offline too, because I just need to do things like remove the crates, stuff like that. That's like grindy and not as watchable. So I'm doing that to build up to the more exciting stuff. Yeah. How crucial is a core audience? They're everything. They're everything. They are your people that show up every day, every week, you know, whatever their frequency is. They're the people that are actually the community because they're there all the time. So they set the tone and the vibes of the chat. And then when the other people that come in occasionally are there, they're matching the vibe of that core audience. They're the existence and the identity of your community. That's it, right? And they're your baseline. Yeah. They're often the people that talk the most. They're the people that care the most. They're the people you interact with the most. They are everything. Everyone else is additive on top and great, but you shouldn't base things off of those people. You base things off of the people that are like the dedicated ones and are there the same way you are dedicated to sitting there and streaming for them all the time. They're meeting you in the middle. That's what's important. So you really shouldn't care about the other things as much. Not that you shouldn't at all. Like, it's great to have new people. You want things to grow, yes, but that core is what matters. If you have to compare them, 100%. You said, yeah, I saw clown pubes and thought, cool vibes around here.
Your undead are the core audience faction redeems
yeah.
chat.
All the people with weird glorp names and stuff. Yep. Exactly. Speaking of core audience, did you see the new clan on Discord? Yeah, I've noticed you guys with your fucking clan tags. The Discord keeps doing shit Okay, the Discord keeps just doing shit, and the new shit that they're on is everyone's got clan tags right now. Um, because I think the community is, you know, while it's a very wide community, there are a lot of different types of people. It's also kind of just a millennial hellscape. So now we have this going on. See that? There are a couple of clans though, I've noticed. I've seen a few, but a lot of people are putting on the Geek clan tag on Discord. they're all putting the Geek clan tag on. You can't put symbols like that in your Twitch username, right? Because if you could, I would tell you to all put it on. Yeah, there's CRE. What the hell is that? Creatures? We got fucking, I think this is Cabe. Is this Cabe? It reads like Cabe. We got Cree for creatures. Yeah, it's like an old vent server. We got a lot of X's in our names. Yeah, some of you were like full like. Oh, we got the lieutenant, Debasist here, also known as Dabasist. His name is XXX_420 Debasist _606969 XXX. Like, it's gone. I think the next thing we got to start doing, something we used to do in the tier 3 chat that I'll bring back is I think we need to do forum signatures. Guys, I think we need to bring back forum signatures every time we type, okay? You know what to do. Puckhead, thank you for the 5 gifted. Rickety Unicorn as well. Thank you for the fresh sub. Well, come on in. And Lurk, thank you for the 10. That's crazy. Thank you all. Oh my god, a treasure trade. Yeah, I think we need forum signatures. May had started them up in my own tier 3 chat a while back. I think we should bring it back. But yeah, the Discord right now, everyone's got their fucking clan tags on.
I meant to get my mom an edible arrangement for Mother's Day. Accidentally got an Oedipal arrangement and boy is this brunch awkward.
The other type of arrangement. Oh man, one of my favorite lines, speaking of Oedipus, one of the funniest lines in a musical for this Mother's Day, I'll give you this tidbit. There's a song in the producers, one of the lines is Oedipus, they're talking about the musical or the play, like it doing well or bombing, and they're talking about all different types of plays, and they said Oedipus won't bomb if he winds up with mom. I always thought they were talking about like how much no one wants a tragedy anymore, everyone just wants like a fun thing, let's change the endings. And that was one of the lines, and I was like, oh my god. The song's called Keep It Gay. It's a great one.
I hope
highly
you
recommend.
had a nice Mother's Day.
I'm
recovering this Mother's Day since I have a double whammy effect since it's also my sister's birthday today.
Oh, and then you gotta get them extra stuff, and you have to like specifically be like, Happy Mother's Day, everyone, and happy birthday to you. Yeah, it's a whole thing. You need to rewatch the producers. You do both. The old version in the '60s, so good, and then the one with Nathan Lane and Matthew Broderick was solid too. I like both. I really like the old one, but I will say those two movie versions of the producers are kind of like, they're almost one-to-one of each other. They're like really similar. Usually when a movie is remade, it's so different. But I swear to you, the 60s version, the two versions of them are so similar. They keep a lot of the same energy. It's just a little different with the character acting because it's different actors, obviously. But like, it's so similar. They're both worth watching. They're both really good. But yeah, the old one has Gene Wilder in it. I like his version of the character. I was not prepared for the original not being a musical. Yeah. It's so good though. Oh, I love both. How often does a writer or director redo their own movie? I don't know. Go look it up. I don't have the stat. Which one is the better springtime for the H-Man? Oh, you know it's the later one. You know it's the full musical version. Oh man. That's my most favorite musical. There's so many that I love, but the producers gets me every time. It's so good. So good. Yeah, John Barrowman coming out blonde. Bleach blonde hair, blue eyes, coming out to sing was so funny, man. Oh, Oh, there's nothing funnier. The way he has like a shit-eating smile the whole time. If you guys are not into musicals, I will say one that everyone I've ever shown it to, everyone likes it, even if they think they don't like musicals. Everyone likes The Producers. Everyone I've ever showed it to was like, yo, that was pretty good. That shit was funny. Highly recommend. Highly recommend. It's so good. It is good. Though, TGN, if you say that and people don't know what the musical is about, they're going to be like, oh my God, what is this person talking about? They're going to be like, why are they typing that? No, it's so good. It's in context. It's funny as hell, man. Love Hadestown. Hadestown is great. It just doesn't have like a proper
There's one Broadway show I saw
movie.
last year despite the fact that I'm anti-musical, and it made me cry since I have a disability of autism. The Who's, Tommy.
Oh, I've heard that one's good. Why are you anti-musical? You just don't like them? Or do they do something that you think is evil? Like, what's the issue for you? South Park movie is a musical everyone could get on board with. There's some really good ones.
Huzzah Treasure Train.
Huzzah! Yeah, Tommy was solid. There are a lot of like really good ones. It's just a lot of my favorites don't have a good movie version. So I have the privilege of being somewhere where I can go see all these obscure musicals in person, you know, and that's often seeing them in person is a better experience than watching a recording of them a lot of the time. It really depends on how the recording is done. And back in the day, they used to record musicals. They would have these TV cuts of them where they would do the stage version, but they would have a lot of different cameras set up and sometimes no audience. And they would do like a full cut of it, and they would have different camera angles so you can capture parts of it really well, but you still heard the live audio, right? They just had microphones set up all around, so it sounded like you were there. And those were good.
Political science major drunk and mention Les Mis. You're cooked.
I love Les Mis. Les Mis is great. No, but you know, having that experience of being able to watch it like it's the stage version is really nice. But they don't do those anymore. It's like a money thing. They used to always record these stage productions and put them. It was a TV cut. They made them for television. But they don't do it with the new ones because they want you to go travel to a city to see them and spend a fuck ton of money on the live version, or to like buy the album or something, and it just sucks.
To answer your question, I had to suffer listening to the entire Hamilton soundtrack along with even being dragged to see the Broadway musical in its entirety. Plus I'm a metalhead.
You know, unpopular opinion, I know Hamilton is one of the most popular ones in recent years, one of the most popular like newly made ones. I saw it. I didn't like it that much. I loved some of the songs. I didn't love all the music from it. I loved some of the songs. I felt that the acting was incredible. I felt the actors playing their characters were incredible. They were not the problem. They were beautiful, great singers, whatever. It didn't grip me at all with the story, with the plot, whatever. And it wasn't even plot-based. It was telling the story of his life. So it's just a bunch of scenes showing things that happened in his life, which is cool. But it just felt like a lot of nothing. I felt like I didn't gain anything. And the best character the whole time was the King of England, who just shows up to do 2 funny songs. He was the best character. So I feel you. I didn't think Hamilton was that great. A lot of the music was kind of campy. You get really burned out on his writing style? Yes. I felt it was it was both very good but lacked depth. It was just, this guy did this, then that did that, then this person did that. You'll Be Back goes hard. Any scene with the king was perfect, though. Yeah, there were parts that were great. Anyway, I want to thank for the treasure train. Glorpus, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Lurk, thank you for the tier 3. Welcome on in. Lurk, thank you for the 10 gifted as well. Puckhead, thank you for 5 gifted. Rickety Unicorn, thank you for the fresh sub. Is there anything else I'm missing? I think that was all of them. Yeah. There you go. Anyway, I just wish a lot of those like musicals that are really good, that are on Broadway and they don't really plan to make a movie out of or anything like that. I wish they would take them and do those TV cuts like they used to. They were really good. And a lot of classical musicals that I like, I can get friends to watch because those TV cuts exist somewhere on YouTube. So I can show them and be like, hey, you should watch this. But they just don't do it for the modern ones anymore. So you're kind of stuck. I don't know. Also, I think a lot of movies, they cast really poorly, and I'd rather people just see stage actors do them because the stage actors are amazing. And the movie actors often suck ass. They suck. They're so bad. Some of them are not that bad, but then when you hear them, next to a musical, like an actual live musical actor, you're like, oh, and you realize how shit they are. You know, Dragon Slayer, thank you for the 5 gifted, and Viking, thank you as well. Actual acting. Well, no, I think the movie actors that get cast in those musical roles for the musical movies, I think they do a good job with the acting, with the character. Just a lot of them can't sing. Some can though. So for example, I don't like the final product of it because I don't think it did the actual musical itself justice, but I liked a lot of the people singing when they did the movie version of Into the Woods. They did that within the last few years. Into the Woods is a classic. It's a Sondheim musical. It's great. One of my favorites. Some of the casting I didn't love, but some of the people that they did cast, they sounded incredible. They sounded so good in their roles. But they got the vibes wrong. That musical is supposed to be very dark and very funny. It's supposed to be a very weird, whiplashy, morbid and funny. And then I felt like they just made it like kind of morbid the whole time. And I was like, you're missing the whole point of the writing being the way it is, you know? Like, so the movie isn't actually the right version to watch. You should watch like stage versions of that, but they sounded good. The singers sounded really nice, and a lot of them were like movie actors who just also can sing. So sometimes the cast is good. Hi, Astroba. I am. Hugh Jackman does both. Hugh Jackman is good, but if you're gonna have a dude being the Phantom, it should not be Hugh Jackman.
Probably a silly question, but are you playing the new Doom when it comes out?
You don't even gotta ask. You know I'm playing the new Doom. There's no chance I'm not playing the new Doom. I might not even stream on main tomorrow on Monday, and instead, because normally I do Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Sunday, I think I'm gonna do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Sunday instead, because then I can do nothing but Doom for 3 days. I'm pretty sure that's what I'm gonna do. Did they find the right balance of Dreamgirls? Dreamgirls was pretty good, yeah. Johnny Depp is the wolf. I think Johnny Depp as Sweeney Todd was really good. I do prefer like certain types of singers, but I feel like he captured the character really well. I actually think the casting for Mrs. Lovett was not it. And I know what's his face, the director, I know he loves to put his same 3 actors in every movie. I thought Johnny Depp actually was totally fine in that role. I wanted someone else as all the other characters though. What's her name? Helena Bonham Carter was playing you know, he puts Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter in every single movie together opposite each other. Like every movie. Yeah, and she always dies. She always dies. Love her, but I think she wasn't the right singer for that role because it's a really hard role to sing, and I think they should have picked someone who just straight up was a musical actress. But she played the character really well, like from the acting side, so it was fine. Legit, thank you for the 5 gifted subs, and Wool as well, thank you for 5. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for the treasure train. Don't forget to get 35% off with these. They've got great chemistry. I mean, yeah, no, they do. But I would have cast someone else. Her voice was very clean and whispery, which didn't feel quite right to me. Yeah, I mean, Mrs. Lovett is like this incredibly like stereotypical British accented woman, and she runs a pie shop, and her whole character is that like she's just like pretty gross. She's like pretty gross, and the whole joke is that when he shows up in her pie shop for the first time, she's singing about how she has the worst pies ever, and she's like killing bugs. Like she's like rolling out dough, and she keeps saying things like, what is that? And, like in the middle of singing, she'll say, what is that? And slap the table and like kill a bug with her hand and then keep touching the dough. So she's just like kind of grody, you know? And she has this like really hard Cockney accent and everything. So when you sing this role, it's like really hard to sing those songs because the acting is so heavy. And then they put Helena Bonham Carter in there, and I felt like she has a very like sweet voice. Like you said, kind of whispery. So I felt like it wasn't right. She's supposed to be like really rough, you know? So I didn't like the casting for it that much. It was okay. She wasn't bad. It was just the singing that I felt should have been different. I don't know. But it's still a good movie. I think Johnny Depp was good for it. How do you feel about Rent? Rent sucks. Actually, the musical Rent sucks. I don't like it. Not a fan. I loved Alan Rickman, but the dude does not sing. Yeah. He was so good for the role as an actor. Oh, he was so good, but yeah, as a singer, he was okay. Ooh, Ashi, thank you for the 50. Holy shit, thank you. Jesus. Rent the musical or Rent the Payment, which is worse? The musical. I don't like the musical. I don't. Ever listen to Epic the musical? I have. My most favorite one that you can actually watch a proper TV cut of. It's one that's a bit weird, but it's my most favorite. Is Sunday in the Park with George. I'll put it in the Discord. I'll show you the version I think everyone should watch. It was recorded in 1986. PBS American Playhouse presents Sunday in the Park with George at the Booth Theater. It was the original cast. There he is. It's about a painter, George Seurat, and it goes through a bit of his life. I'll put it in GEEGA now right now. I highly recommend. It's an acquired taste, though. I gotta say. It's an acquired taste. And yes, Mandy Patinkin is the main male lead. Okay? And he is one of my most favorite. That's the guy who played Inigo Montoya. You Killed My Father, Prepare to Die. It's him. Little did a lot of people know he's actually an amazing musical actor and a wonderful singer, and he's the male lead in this musical, in this original version of it. So I really love this musical on its own, but I love his performance. And I always loved this musical. I loved him as George, the painter, the main character, because a lot of it follows George and how he's like just obsessed with art and like he just can't think about or do anything else, and it just shows the realities of him. He was like obsessed with painting too. I love it's a weird musical, but I love it. It's my favorite. Kybit, thank you for the 5 gifted. Thank you so much. You loved him in Dead Like Me. He's so good. I think he's just one of my most favorite people, and anyone I could be like parasocial for, probably him. I think he's the greatest. But he's a good singer, and you get to see like young him in a musical. And yeah, Bernadette Peters plays the female lead. She plays Dot, and she is my top 5 musical actresses. She's in there. Bernadette is like one of the best. She does so well in this role in making the character like really just what it is. So the two of them in this musical are great. So the recording that I'm talking about that I think is the best OG version of it, and it's like a nice TV cut of it. I shared in the Discord if you want to watch it. It's so good. It's kind of a long one, and the music has some like quirks of like 80s music. Remember there was a time in classical music where they started using a lot of like synth harpsichords. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but in the 80s, they started using a bunch of these weird synth harpsichords all the time, and it sounded fucking weird. They have that in the track for this musical, because it was like this recording of it was done in 86. So they'll be playing the music, it sounds beautiful, and then occasionally you hear like beep, 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 like some weird synths in here. Kind of like when you listen to like the OG recordings of Cats. So it's got some like old quirks, you know, but just take it as a product of the time, and it's really good. It's really good. I said saw Into the Woods with Bernadette as the witch, so good. She was the best one. She was the best one. Yeah. Yep. What's the best musical song? Oh, like individual song? I have no idea. I couldn't stack them up against each other. There's so many that are just insanely good. I don't know. What is the best musical song? I don't have a favorite. I don't have a favorite. Every 80s band has some nerd on a synth going wild. They were so obsessed because, you know, so much of music was just pure analog up until that point. So it was just the new toy, right? Sort of like how in 2010 and 2012, everything was like weird wubby dubstep because they figured out how to make those sounds. And they were like, it's so cool. And everything had like a dubstep bridge. Kind of the same shit. The keytar was such an era. Oh my God. It was so cool. Best musical song is Memory from Cats. Memory is up there. I just have a disdain for Andrew Lloyd Webber, the composer. I think he makes great music. There's some shit about him that I just can't do it. I can't do it. This dude's mad that I'm on his For You page, but you clicked and commented, man. Thank you for the view. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. You know what, for you, /commercial 30. Just for him. There's a gift. There's a little present, Everyone eat the ads, eat them up. Feed us, yummy. like the Saikuno chatters where they're like, give me the ads now. We're so hungry. It's always so funny. Taylor, you said, sometimes the algo knows you better than you know yourself. Time to embrace it. It's so true, though. You don't get recommended this stuff unless, like, you have something in common. Either they do the content you like or, like, you've been watching VTubers. So I'm just saying. This dude's like, not another one. Why is there another one? What you've been watching? Right? Is the song Joanna from Sweeney Todd creepy or no? No. I think some of the wording of it might come off as a little creepy. But it's not what he's saying. It's not meant to be taken literally. He's like, dude is like, I feel what's going on with you. He does say, I feel you. And I'll steal you, but literally she's locked up in some dude's house some old guy is trying to marry this young woman who's locked in his house, and she clearly does not want to be there, and this young guy is outside her window singing, like, I'll steal you away. I don't think it's creepy at all. I think maybe he's got, he's like, oh, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna be the savior. It's like, all right, slow down, buddy. But someone should probably, so I don't really think it's, He just really likes her, and he's like, I'm so sorry, I want to sniff your hair. Yeah, sweetly buried in your yellow hair. He's just saying he wants to embrace her, that's all. It's just a pretty way of saying he just wants to embrace her. That's really it. He just likes her. I take it as, the character is a young man. He's like a teenager, and so is she. And he's just like, I really don't want you to be stuck in there, and I'm gonna get you out of there. You know that the meme of the guy looking at the cat in the stories, I'm gonna get you out of there. That's what that song is. That's all it is, man. Pretty Women is more pretty and creepy at the same time. Yeah, actually, I really love that song. Let me look at the lyrics. Let me look at them written out and not sung. I don't think they're that creepy. I think it's a really beautiful song where they're just talking about the little thing, like when a woman does a simple thing, it's just beautiful and they like it. That's really all the song is about. They're just like standing on the stair in a garden, letter writing. Like they're just talking about like very simple things that like women of the time would uniquely do, and they're like, it's so pretty when the women do it. You know? I always thought it was actually quite a nice song about it, to be honest. Well, the reprise of that with him and Sweeney both thinking of her in their own way. Yeah, the reprises in that musical are so good. Not creepy from the murder guy, but it is creepy from the judge that does bad things to women. Yeah, it's creepy because of context, but if you take the song on its own, it's fine. Liking women is creepy. I'm telling you, men should only be thinking about war, okay? My elixir is piss. Who says this? Oh, yeah, Pirelli's Miracle Elixir. The one that just smelled like piss. Victorian era women are crazy hot, though. Are you sure about that? Victorian women. Well, first of all, women have always looked like women. No. No, I don't think so. Because of the low-grade fever. They looked so nice because they all had the vapors. Yeah, I think you like the outfits. I think a lot of the hairstyles were incredibly unflattering on them, but I liked the elaborate dresses. The problem was a lot of the time they wore dresses where they had a really, really slim waist, which made them look more feminine, but they were always in like these crazy corsets, so it was very damaging for them. So I think it did look cool, but it wasn't real. It's like women that get BBLs today. Back then they were just all wearing corsets. Also keep in mind that photos of the time were touched up. They would touch up the film directly before printing. So it's like old era photoshopping. So when you see old black and white photos of people and they all look airbrushed, it's because they literally would take these colored pencils and these pastels and things, and they would literally redraw the image before printing a little bit. So yeah, ye old Photoshop existed very heavily. There were people who it was their jobs to do that. So yeah. Photoshop tools are named after their analog ancestors. Yep. They always did that. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Love it when a woman crushes all their organs to look skinny. You know what's crazy, though? You know, it's been out of fashion for a long time because we know it's so bad for us, right? But then at some point, one of the Kardashian sisters got into corset wearing. I don't know which one, but one of the Kardashians did. And she was like, oh, my waist looks so snatched all the time now, and my ass looks huge because I'm actually shaped really normally, but I wear a corset. And she started wearing corsets and corset training herself all the time. And then several of the sisters started doing it. And then I started seeing women out and about, like food shopping in normal society, wearing corsets. And that they'd be wearing some normal ass like tracksuit, and they'd just like throw a black corset over it and just leave it on. And I was like, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Because even if you're not tying it so tightly that it's harming you and you just have a normal one on, it's just uncomfortable. It's just really uncomfortable. Why are we doing that? It was just weird. And the way you put them on, a lot of people don't do it properly, so they end up, their spinal shape is a little off. It's pushing in some ways. It affects sometimes your posture, and if you stand the right way with it, you can be okay, but a lot of people don't, so they're making their posture worse. It just, you know, it's like a how you use it kind of thing, and most people weren't using them properly, so I was just like, you know, I would see it out and about, and it was bothering me a lot because it was long-term bad, you know. So corsets aren't actually bad for you tight-laced, yes, but they're actually very supportive if made for your measurements. But most people wouldn't get ones made for their measurements. That's what I'm saying, right? Like, it's a how you use it thing. So many people would be just like, they grab any old corset, slap it on, just lace that shit. And that's so bad if you're not like doing it right. I don't know. But also supportive, what support do you need? Your muscles support you. If you are tied together by a thing and you're not using your muscles to support yourself, then your muscles slowly over time are not being used and they degenerate, whatever you want to say. And that's very bad. That is very bad. You do not need extra abdominal support unless you have a problem that requires that. If you're a mother who just had a child and you want to wear those belly bands, which is kind of like a corset to hold yourself together, and it supports you while your muscles kind of get used to being in the same position again, that's great. You know, or you have some sort of issue that requires it, that's great. But the average person should not be adding extra support onto themselves like that unless a doctor tells you to, because typically you're just letting your muscles not do it, which over time leads to them just not being used, and atrophy. They just do nothing, which is bad. So don't do it. Don't do it. I had to wear a thing when I did my surgery, and I had like a huge issue with my abdominal area. I had to wear a thing. I had to wrap my midsection because my muscles were so stretched. I had all these incisions through them, so I couldn't even like hold myself up, because if I held myself up using my abdominal muscles, I would squeeze them and then I would have issues medically, and I wouldn't heal well. So I had to wear a thing, and I had to push myself up with my arms and not squeeze my abdominal muscles for so long until I was healed, because I got many incisions through my abdominal wall. So I had to wear one, so I know what that's like. I had a reason, but as soon as I didn't have to, it was the opposite. As soon as I didn't have to, it was don't wear it because now you need to build that muscle back up. You know? So it was like that for a bit and then a flip. But yeah. Can't imagine not being able to use my stomach muscles. Totally weird experience. Not being able to squeeze my abdomen at all without like severe pain or opening an incision or something like that. When I would get out of bed, I would be laying down and I'd have to like roll myself over so that I could have my legs go over the side of the bed. But I would have to do it only tensing my arms and a little bit of my leg. Even when you tense your leg, you tend to tense lower abdominal muscles, and my incisions were all over the place, both sides, left and right, up and down, you know, like no bit of muscle was safe, basically. So I couldn't use any of the muscles on the front, really. I had to avoid, you know, doing any of that. So I had to like roll myself over using only arm muscles. This is why I had a family member stay with me during that time too, because I'd just be like, I have to get up now, and then I'd try to do it myself, but for the first couple of days especially, they would come in and literally like roll me over and then like lift me to get me out of bed. I just like could not move. Yeah, help. Help, because it wasn't a matter of pain. It was like if you move, if you could end up compromising these incisions, just like don't squeeze. That's what I was told. So it was crazy, man. Said you like the Victorian corsets for certain use, but stays are better. It's true. It's true. You had your appendix removed when you were 11, and after you woke up for the first time, you tried sitting up. Big mistake. Yeah, man. It was. And appendicitis, you know, when you have that removed, your appendix, it's just like the one lower right incision. That's like, at least your left side is still okay. I had left, right, up and down, everything, middle. So it's just, it was so rough. And those muscles were like stretched too. So I had to like wear a thing to compress it. It was so bad. It was so bad. Entire combo makes me want to work on my core more. Please do. Please do. It's not being able to use that stuff properly makes you really appreciate it. Makes you really appreciate it. I like understood how much I used my back muscles to do certain things after that time, because I was really like only using arm and back muscle for everything. Oh, it was crazy. It was a crazy time. Only huge injury you got was on your head. Yeah, that's one of those things where like it's really bad, but at the same time it doesn't affect the rest of your body for the most part, assuming it's just like, you know, an external injury or whatever, you know, a little cut. That kind of stuff is much easier because your arms and legs can still be used. Yeah, I had like good range of motion and use of my arms, but I have to say the weirdest pain for me was when they do a laparoscopic surgery. They fill you with gas as best they can. And then when they close you up, they don't always like get all the gas out, right? There's a bunch left in you that your body slowly reabsorbs. They use CO2, right? And they just pump a little gas in there to make a little room so when they're using their tools, they can see what they're doing, right? So when you get out of that surgery and there's still gas in you, it is so painful. It rises and it's like in your body cavity. So it gets like I had shoulder pain. The backs of my shoulders and like my neck area hurt so much. I could like moving my arms hurt a ton because there was all this gas that was basically like between your skeleton and your like muscle layer and everything. It just like moves up and it just fucking hurts, man. Ooh, it's so weird. And if I touched the side of my rib cage, if I touched my ribs, there were like all these little air bubbles. It felt like crunching styrofoam. It would be like all these tiny little air bubbles popping. It was the weirdest feeling. Bubble wrap under the skin. It was like tiny, crunchy. I don't even know. It was a cool feeling, but it fucking sucked. So interesting though. Weird as hell. I don't know if you guys ever experienced any of that, but yeah, like a human can of soda. Yeah. It felt like that. It felt like fizzy in a way, like tiny, tiny air bubbles everywhere. So I shit you not, bad gas can feel like a heart attack. Yeah, when it's like still trapped in you, it was bad. So the bends, not exactly. But it hurts. It hurts, man. It's like bubbles under a vinyl sticker but under your skin. Yes. You could like move it around. Oof. You could. You could. Surgery felt like a donkey kick. I basically came out of that looking like I had multiple stab wounds, and then like my whole body hurt, my upper body especially from the gas. So like I had to use my arms to do everything, to like lift myself, move myself around, because I couldn't squeeze any abdominal muscles. But my shoulders and backs of my like arms and everything hurt a lot from the gas too. So it was like, it felt like I was just bruised and having to move through it. It sucked so bad. The worst part was waking up from surgery, feeling like I couldn't move, but getting told by the nurse, we're gonna make you move because you can't get blood clots. So the best thing to do is to get you walking. And even if you're just shuffling, even if I'm just carrying you, we're getting you upright. And I was like, what? Because I was just like, I like could not move, you know? She was like, we're going. And she basically like lifted me out of the bed. Clot walk, yeah. Fun old clot walk. And they put you in the stupid idiot socks so you don't slip. But I was like, I'm gonna fucking do it because I don't want blood clots. So I was like, all right. And she was like, wow, I'm glad you're actually walking. Sometimes I just carry people. And I was like, no way you carry people. Which I know nurses do, it sucks, but like, Jesus. Crazy. Yeah, the stupid idiot socks. They did that with your mom's, like rotating on a spit. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and they're like, you can't leave until you poop. Well, because you wake up from anesthesia and it completely stops your bowel function sometimes, or most of the time. It stops peristalsis, which is that, you know, your intestines like slowly just moving, pulsating with a little ripple effect so that like stuff moves through. So they have to make sure that your organs all work and they've woken back up. So they'll literally be like, you don't have to poop, but they'll be like, you gotta fart. And they like, the nurses will talk to people about these things and people get so embarrassed. It's funny. For you, it was till you peed? Yeah, it depends on what they do to you. It depends on how long you're under, stuff like that. But yeah, a nurse gripping you and being like, you can't leave until you poop. It's always interesting. They put the weird leg massager on you. Yeah, I had a lot of weird, they did a lot of weird stuff. A lot of weird stuff. She was like picking up my legs and like we were doing like leg exercises. She was like picking up my knees and trying to touch my knees to like my chest, right? Like you pick up your leg as far as you can. Because I couldn't, she wanted to make sure my legs got moved so that blood was flowing through. But I could not pick up my legs because if you're just laying on your back and you're lifting your leg forward, you're using your lower abdominal muscles. So she would just come in and periodically just grab my legs and go like, ee-er, and like move them. And she'd be like, don't tense. And I'd be like, because I was in pain. Oh, it was great. I love my nurse, though. She was so nice. She was a great lady. But she'd be like, don't tense up. And she'd be like, moving my legs. She was wonderful. She was wonderful. Oof. You were in the hospital and you ended up fainting. That was in the ER for 6 hours. Ugh. Ugh. I don't remember how long I was in there. It's all a blur. I like remember that day, but also don't. I remember specifics, but my sense of time for all that was so fucky. So fucky. I don't even know. And then you know, when you're under anesthesia, sometimes you don't remember anything, but then you slowly get those memories back, like well over time. I've had some memories come back that I can distinctly picture that I think are real. You never know if they're false. That I think are real from things that happened around the time of the surgery. Which is weird. So my first like month, I couldn't remember anything. Like they did they did a sedative first, wheeled me into the room, and then did the anesthesia, right? As soon as the sedative went in, I didn't remember anything after that. But now if I remember back, a couple months later after the surgery, I could remember what happened, sort of. Like I could picture some of what happened, some things that were said. I could remember what was said between getting the sedative and then getting the anesthesia. Like I could remember getting wheeled down the hallway. I could picture the operating room and everything. So like some memories came back way later. That's a weird feeling. Yeah, flashbacks. That stuff was very odd. Every time you blinked, you thought you saw more nurses above you. For me, when I woke up, I didn't have any weird delirious shit because I also refused to be on certain drugs and things. I just would not. I was on some stuff at the beginning, but then other things I refused. And I didn't have too much weird issue with that, but I couldn't stop throwing up. Which, of course, when your abdominal muscles are not to be moved, otherwise you could open an incision, that's really bad. So I was, like, trying to throw up as gently as possible, like, tries to demurely throw up off the edge of the bed. Like, I was trying so hard to let it happen, because you have to let it happen, but to not squeeze those muscles. It was such a, that was a terrible, demure vomiting. Because you're trying to not, like, do a whole, all my muscles go crazy. Like, it was, so bad. So bad. But I tried. Yeah, baby blazing, who knows? Probably. Throws up with elegance. Exquisite agony. I was trying my best, man. Is it bad that you haven't vomited in like 3 years? That's great. It's got to be the worst feeling. Like when you throw up, you turn into like a baby, You're like laying on the bathroom floor and you're like, I'll never drink ever again, or I'll never eat that ever again. Oh, it's like the worst time of your life. You feel like you're dying. And then you get over it the next day and you're like, woo, I'm going to do that again, Yeah, you feel better afterwards. It's true. It's true. I've gotten food poisoning so many times. So many times. And I just, oof. Oof. When I was really sick before I got my surgery and everything, I was throwing up a lot. Sometimes I would just wake up and go throw up. It was like first thing I had to do. Thankfully, it would be before I ate, so it didn't have to affect all that stuff too badly. Like, the feeling obviously sucks, but it wasn't happening randomly. It was usually when I got up. I don't know what it was. I think it's the transition of being laid down for a long time versus being upright. That plus all the medical stuff I had going on just got me. So I would just wake up and go to the bathroom and be like, and then do whatever I could immediately to take care of that. And it wasn't too bad. I think it would have been worse if I was like eating and then having an issue. That would suck. But it didn't. And I learned some things to like get up in certain ways and like transition to being from being asleep to being out of bed slowly and doing certain things that it didn't happen as much. So I was able to mitigate it, but yeah, there were times it was so bad, man. Terrible. Wonder if being put under can mess with your ear thing? I don't know. I didn't have any issues with it. My inner ear problem you're talking about? Yeah, I think, I don't know. I didn't have any problems. And I wasn't warned, like, oh, this could happen. It was on my medical records that that's a thing. But they didn't tell me anything about it. So, I don't know. I think, you know what? If I was going to have vertigo from the anesthesia, I was going to have vertigo anyway. So whether it was from that or from my inner ear problem, I probably wouldn't have been able to tell anyway. So, like, I guess they didn't feel the need to say anything about that. Because no matter what, I was going to be like, oh, like, falling and shit as I try to walk through the hallway, It is what it is. But I don't get that issue too often, so I don't think it was, too big of a problem. Ooh, you got an intestinal infection last year? Oh, infections are rough, and there's certain places you don't get infections very often. Intestinal infection sounds like not like something I feel like I hear a lot, That sounds rough. I don't know. Thankfully, I haven't had food poisoning in a bit. But, I used to travel a lot. And I would eat, like, everything everywhere. And so many trips. You go to these restaurants that are supposed to be pretty good, supposed to be fine, and you just end up, like, dying overnight. Throwing up and shit. I got food poisoning so much just from traveling. It was so bad. Hope you didn't get any parasites. I have never had to be dewormed. Woo! Thankfully, I have never had to deal with that. which is great. I know some people, some friends of mine that have had to like be dewormed several times from where they traveled, and I'm like, oh man,
My
that's a
funny
lot.
surgery, sorry, I had to get my hamstring lengthened and bones
Oh,
messed
really?
with. My default sitting position was my legs bent back. Very not
Ooh,
good. They called my father,
yeah.
letting him know it may take longer.
Oh
My dad, with his
God.
factory maintenance background, could tell over the phone, by sound alone, the exact saw they used to cut and effectively break my bone.
Yeah, because
Habits
they have to
because
separate
long.
it. Ugh. It's like those people that are like, I want to be taller, and they get that willingly done. That's crazy. It's crazy. Insane. That sucks, dude, having to get your hamstring lengthened. At least you went through with it. If you honestly, it's one of those things where like getting the procedure is awful, but not getting the procedure and then dealing with all the stuff later is potentially more awful. So like, you know, it's one of those things you just have to do it. Just good to go through with it, you know. Go to South America, get you some bot fly larva friends. Yeah. I don't remember. I think it was like it might have been Laos. I'm trying to remember where my friend went. She went to this one spot. I think it was Laos. She came back. She had to be dewormed for like 2 weeks. She picked up some bad parasites, and she was like, "I got worms." And I was like, "How'd you know you get worms?" She was like, "I pooped them." And I was like, "What?" And she was like, "Yeah, they're bad." She was feeling really sick, and she didn't like get. She's stupid. All right. When it comes to taking care of herself, she's fucking stupid. Let's just put that out there. She was having some stomach and intestinal issues when she came back from the trip, and she was like, "I'll be fine. I'm probably just feeling sick because I just traveled," which is never like, oh, okay. She just was like, "It'll be fine." She waited some time. Eventually, she like sees, you know, some traces of things, and she's like, "Oh my God, what is that?" I think she texted like her sister, her mom, like someone, and was like, What is this?" And they were like, "You you probably have like worms. Like you gotta go." I don't know how long after her trip it was, but it was quite some time. So they had enough time to like really propagate and everything. She had to go get dewormed. It's crazy. And then she also had some sort of rash that she ignored too, and she was like, "Oh, it'll probably go away. It's just from the trip." Probably go away. Okay, we'll make it go away faster. Make it go away before it's an issue with some treatment. I don't. If I travel somewhere and I come back and I've got a rash and weird intestinal issues that don't go away for a week, I'm not like, I'm getting that checked out like day 2 of coming back, right? First of all, but second of all, like what? Like what they have to do with dogs? Yeah, you take a dewormer, you take a medication that kills the worms off. That's what you have to do. That's what you have to do. It's the only way. I don't know. People are not. I think especially Americans, they're like very. We don't have a lot of parasites that get people too often in America. We have some, but typically not, and definitely not from food usually. So I think people are in La La Land. They're very unaware of how bad it is. So they go traveling and they're like, it's probably fine. It's probably okay. I don't think they realize how normal and prevalent these things are and how common they are. I was watching, oh man, I think I told you guys a while back, I was watching that show Alone. There's Alone Australia, Alone whatever, Alone Canada, where they send people out to just be alone in the wilderness. Whoever's the last one to tap out wins money. I was watching this show. Several people, there's always one person every season who's like, I think I need water, and I am going to drink this unboiled water from downstream of a creek, right, where it lets out into the ocean or into the lake, right? Thank you for the raid. Welcome on in. So every season there's someone who takes a cup and they're like, I'm so thirsty. I just have no time to boil this water. And they go to like the lowest point of the creek right before it lets off into a bigger body of water. And they just put their cup in it and drink it. I remember watching one lady put her lips straight to the creek. And I was like, are you, what? By the way, Raiders, I'm talking about, I was watching that show Alone. We're talking about parasites. I was watching this lady go to the lowest end of the stream, which, you know, streams and creeks and things are where animals go to do everything. They drink that, they poop in it. It's like the worst. Like downstream is the worst of the water. And I'm watching this lady put her lips to the rocks. She's like, it looks so clear, you know? Oh, it's so clear. And I was like, what are you? No! And like, all of them get Giardia. Like, they all get all of these fucking parasites. And they have to be dewormed on their way out. I'm like, what do you mean? Also, but the thing is, I would understand if it was just some normal-ass person going on a show doing that. But they're all supposedly people who like the outdoors, who love survival. They're supposed to be, like they tried out for the show and got chosen because they know something about this stuff. But then they just drink downstream water. I was like, what? Without boiling it, too. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. At every season, there was a person doing this. And then they'd be throwing up and, like, can't stop shitting the next day. And they're like, how could this happen? Yeah, exactly, right. Reality TV. I mean, they're probably brought in because they're going to do that. I don't know, dude. Stuff like that just goes crazy. They chose a few randos with zero sense of survival skill. I'm pretty sure they sandbag it on purpose. I think they pick a few people that really know what they're doing and then a few people that don't to get that, like, early spice. It's got to be purposeful, right? Like, there's no way. Especially, I don't remember... What's the name of the show? Oh, Outlast is the other one. That is a team-based one. That one was, like, really, truly half and half. Half of those people seemed to actually know something about survival. The other half seemed like they specifically were bad at it. And then they would put them on teams and you'd get like a mix. And there would be... there was one girl who was like, I'm a hunter. I hunt all the time. I know so much about the outdoors. And so like the team that picked her was so happy. They're like, we really need someone who understands hunting. We need to catch small game to eat. And then she was useless. Useless. She couldn't... They gave a bow and arrow. She could not use it. They were like, we have to string it. She's like, I don't know how. And I was like, what? What? She had all these pictures of herself, like, going out hunting and wearing camo, but she was, like, her hair was done too well and stuff. You know, clearly, like, not actually hunting, just walking around and letting someone else hunt, you know? It was just one of those things. No, she didn't only use guns. She claimed that she could use all the tools there. And I was like, why are you just lying? And it would be one thing if she was alone and it wasn't team-based and she was like, oh, I could do this and then had to tap out. But she's on a team. She was dragging the team down, man. I was like, it made me so mad. They kicked her out of the team. It was funny. They kicked her out, and she was like, they don't deserve me anyway. And the rules were, like, if you get kicked out, you have to go walk to another team and hope they accept you. And if they don't accept you in, you're out. You have to be on a team, and you can't be without a team for 24 hours. So she, like... gets removed in the morning. She goes and walks to the next team over and they're like, oh yeah, you know, she said she was a hunter, we can't wait to have her. So they brought her in and 2 days later they got rid of her too because they were like, she lying. she doesn't know how to hunt. It was so funny, man. Oh, it was so funny. It was crazy. Trying to gentrify hunting. The thing is, I know plenty of people that can hunt super well. I know so many people that could just do this stuff. And then they cast people in the show that have no idea. I'm like, there are a lot of Americans who go out and love survival shit. They do this shit all the time. So, like, if they want to cast people, they can find them. So there's no way these people aren't chosen on purpose because they're bad, right? They have to be. They have to be. I don't know. Love that show for being what I thought Survivor should be. Survivor was funny though because of like the drama, the voting system, but you know, I liked this one because it was truly like we threw you out there alone with some cameras, go make it work. I thought it was a really good premise. I climbed trees. I think it's good to like the outdoors. It's good to know how to do this stuff, but it's better to just watch it on TV. Okay, just watch some videos. Don't worry about doing it yourself unless you really want to. It's okay to go glamping, all right? It's okay. Just do it. There's another show where they put people who have no idea how to survive but the experienced families, and they get to just watch in horror. Are you thinking... Wait, is it a different show? There's one where they, like, throw them out there to survive, and only the person watching them, the family member, can press the button to get them extracted out. And they have to try to leave them out there as long as possible. Like, the person who's out there cannot vote to be taken out and extracted themselves. Is it that one? Because that one is, like, distressing. Yeah, extraction. Right. That one is so distressing. What a great premise, though. It's so dramatic. Oh, man. Survivor's surviving light. Yeah, it's not really about the survival part that much. Glamping's great, especially if the campsite has real toilets. Yeah, I think real toilets are less of the concern. I think showers, if you're there long term, you're gonna be there for like a week, being able to actually wash yourself, have like running water for that is really nice. Other than that, it's all fine. Yeah, you said your survival skills are near zero. And it's good to admit it. It's good to admit it. Have you guys watched Extraction? Some of you are like commenting on certain episodes. I actually haven't watched it. I've just seen a couple clips. Like I haven't watched the full show, a full episode or anything. But I've seen clips of it like recommended to me on YouTube, and there will be a guy alone in the forest freaking out, talking to the camera, trying to beg his family to press the button to extract him, and they're just like, because they're trying to get the money. That shit is crazy. It's so funny. Oh man. And they're like so fearful. That's awesome. It's really good. It's really good. Let me see if I can. Is it on? It's like the full show on YouTube. Let me see. It looks like there might be. Is it Extracted? Is that what it is? Extracted, not Extraction. Yeah, I think full episodes might actually be on YouTube. Ooh. They should combine that with Scared Straight. Did you know that when they have like juveniles, youths that are going down the wrong path, quote unquote, and they want to rehabilitate them, one of the best things they can do is have them like work on a farm, straight up. Like one of the best ways to turn their mindset around is straight up, yeah, the youths, is to put them to work somewhere. Not like labor camp them, but they have like these normal ass summer camps where they'll be like equestrian based, and they'll be like, you're here and you're gonna take care of the horses with us. We're gonna brush them every day. We're gonna shovel their shit. Like you just do normal stable work. And they have things like that, and they send kids on them, and they're actually really good. It sounds hellish. No. I mean, it's not like they put you to hard labor and they're just like, you do this. It's like nice, normal people working on these ranches or farms, and then they bring you along and give you tasks. Like you're helping out more than being the one.
Early on, someone will say some five-head shit like, oh, he or she will be a problem in the solo challenges.
Yeah.
And then they lose most of them since they voted out their best teammate too early.
Yeah, and it gets so dramatic. Everyone gets mad at them and then votes that guy out. Yep. But yeah, no, it's one of those things that like actually does really well for a lot of these kids. They'll be like, yeah, here are the horses. I think it's also like them learning to care for something. Like when they're caring for animals, it helps them like feel a sense of responsibility. This animal is relying on me, and I need to be responsible for it. And it helps shift mindsets a lot. Now, some of those places are for profit and are really bad, but a lot of them are really good. So it's just interesting how, if done properly, that's actually one of the best ways to rehabilitate people. It's good for PTSD too. It's true. A lot of them take a lot of folks from the Marines and Army. They do. There are a lot of people who are former military that go into those for some time, or when they're having like a really hard time in particular, they send them out there. Yeah, farm therapy and that kind of stuff. It really gives them like something about simplifying things down to a list of tasks, and there's some things relying on you. Really helps people. Really does. It's interesting. They do the same thing with stray cats and inmates. Yeah, it works really well too. It works really, really well. It's nice. Let's rehabilitate them by making them shovel horse shit. Yep. Literally. It's because the idea is like, this horse cannot take care of itself. You have to feed it. You have to shovel its shit. Yes, you have to keep its area clean, all of this stuff. You have to do this for it, and it relies on you. And something about putting certain people that have the wrong mindset toward life in that situation where this thing is fully relying on them, that really, really adjusts their priorities and what they think is important. It helps them realize that, because some people have just never had that in their lives, and a lot of people that when they're young, especially, they act out a lot and they do like crazy shit where you're like, why do they think this is okay? You know, just insane behavior. A lot of it comes from they've never had to do that. Yeah, they've never had to be empathetic, like ever. You know, kids don't just develop empathy just cause. Empathy is largely taught. Some of it's innate, but a lot of it is taught. So, yeah, if they're not taught that, then like, honestly, one of the best ways to do it is to be like, here's a horse that relies on you. It's an intelligent animal, and you know, it's gonna know when something's wrong. It's gonna be really upset. It's gonna be sad if you don't help it, and there you go, kid. You know, and that sort of stuff kind of readjusts them a little bit. It does. And it doesn't judge them. Yeah, the animals don't know about what they did, so it puts them in this area where the thing they're taking care of and interacting with doesn't know about their history, doesn't care. You're just a person. And that also kind of clean slates them a little bit. A lot of them feel so hurt by people that they're like, they're not going to do this with people. It's not going to work if you put them in an environment with humans. But you give them an animal that doesn't judge them and leave them with the animal to just take care of it, and it really, like, adjusts them a bit. It really does. Get them a really cute dog. Yeah, you have to supervise, though. Some of them will even be not empathetic toward the animal at first. Like, it's very supervised until they've proven they can do it alone. Everybody should spend a summer working at a busy convenience store. I think there are some things, yeah, that like almost everyone should experience. I think working retail or food service once. I think customer service in any way, right? Like any type of customer service, which you could call working retail kind of like that. Same vein of what it teaches. Everyone should have to do that in some way, shape, or form. Everybody. For at least a few months? Yeah. I think so. It changes people, okay? It changes people. A lot. Yeah, Walgreens in the city's like being in the trenches. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I think a lot of people need it. They change up how they act a little bit. They would. It's all right sometimes. I mean, sometimes, yeah. Absolutely. I personally didn't work retail, didn't work fast food, didn't work any of those, but I did something else. And that something else had some of those really awful fucking people that I had to deal with. And it really altered me. It altered my mindset toward everything, for sure. Retail made you a lot more patient than you used to be. Yeah, it makes you think a lot about how you interact, right? Like, it makes you think about that other person on the other side of the counter when you're in the store. I don't know. Then again, I was taught since I was little to be really good. Okay? My mother's the type to always be like, I don't want to bother them right now. They look busy. I'm going to push my cart all the way back to the thing. My mom sees someone in a parking lot pull in to go to a store that she's leaving, and she like waits for them to get out of their car and goes, I've just finished using my cart. Would you like it? She's one of those. She's like, she waits for them so she can hand them the cart instead of putting in the thing and making them go get it. She'll be like, would you like this cart? No? Okay, I'll put it back. She's very, like, she's one of those. You want 100 of her to live in your community, basically. She's very good to all wait staff and all that. She's a very nice lady, very patient person. I think she's a little too passive, personally. So my personality developed a little differently. Because she'll sit there and wait for someone to be done with a thing. She'll be like, they look busy. And then she'll just stand there with her hands folded and wait for, I kid you not, 10 full minutes for some retail worker to finish a little task before she bothers them. And I'm like, why don't you just ask them and say, hey, you don't have to interrupt what they're doing. I just wanted to know blank, blank, blank. And if they go, oh, let me finish this first, you go, oh, okay, you know, or whatever. But she'll just like sit there and wait. and wait her turn, even though like she doesn't need to. She's just too passive. So I developed in the other direction a little bit, because I would get frustrated. She'd be standing there, and I'd be like, "We don't have to wait for this. It's too much." I don't know. But I'm also very patient because of that in general. Your parents are hapless suckers in current times. Yeah, my mother's the type, if a waiter was holding like boiling soup, walking to the table and poured it on her on accident, threw it on her, she'd be like, "Oh my god, ow, are you okay?" To the waiter. She'd be like, "It didn't get on you, did it?" "Oh, I'm fine, I'll just suffer." Like, she's just like, she'll just sit there and burn and be like, "Don't worry about me." "Oh, I'll do it." She's one of those, man. Too much. Giga Chad mom. She's too good. She's too good to people. And to her own detriment, you know? I think it'd be good if she was a little more in the middle. Sounds mighty Midwestern. She is most certainly not Midwestern. Absolutely not. If you heard her, she doesn't say I. She says I. She doesn't say because. She says because. Water. I had this idea. She's very not Midwestern, but your mom is mean sarcastic. But she can be very, she is sarcastic. She can be very sarcastic. She can be really like witty. She can say like crazy shit, but she just has this baseline of patience that's also insane. Absolutely insane. Your mom's the same? Yeah. There's a lot of them. Is it the daughter equivalent of I have anxiety about sticking up for myself but not my friends? What about me or about her? I think for her it's that. Well, no, she's just too passive all around. All around. And that was how I learned to not be passive. Because I'd sit there watching her be passive about a thing, and I'd be like, none of this needs to happen right now. You don't even need to be passive about this. This doesn't even help you. And then I would just step in and be like, hey, we need this, or blah, 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 you know. So I think I learned to be more assertive because of experiencing the opposite. I don't know. It's generally more enjoyable to be nice. It's true from your own, like your own perspective, right? Your own experience. It is. It actually is. I completely agree. You think I'm an angry driver? I'm absolutely not. I have all the patience in the world. I don't really get angry. If I say something and you think I'm getting angry about it, I'm probably hamming it up because it's a bit. Or I'm just like saying it, but I don't actually feel that way. I don't really get mad. I don't really get mad. I just get like disappointed. But then I have the patience to just wait it out. I don't know. Also, side note, I want to open this game. If I open it, will I be able to see it in my NVIDIA control panel and lock its FPS while it's open? If it doesn't show up in the list naturally, that is the question. Because this game in menus got really weird with the FPS. Oop. There it goes. Let's turn off the BGM. That is the question. You can hear it. Alright, let me see. I'm gonna manage 3D settings. Program settings. Wow, 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 wow. This game's so fucking loud, dude. I think I turned it down last time to hear. There we go. I don't like the menu music, but I really like a lot of the other tracks. It is not in here, huh? should be added from diskpath once it's installed. Should be able to, but... Oh, it works now. When I was pressing the add button earlier, it was just like not functioning. Okay, adding this one. Okay. And then it's frame rate, max frame rate. I'm going to set to 60. And I hit OK, and I hit apply, and hopefully it doesn't blow up. Okay. Okay. I did it. It says it's done. It claims to be done. Okay. We'll go with that. Hopefully it works. Okay, let me get my controller. Running fast, yeah, this game's really fun. I don't care about the story at all. It has some story as you go through. Obviously now. See that? Let's just get off of the menu screen because the menus are always like lag me out.